Hello, and welcome back to Xpwaste, where you've heard of goth chicks and fishnets. Allow me to introduce you to fish souls in drift nets. Hi, I'm Oxie.
And I'm Michael. Every once in a while, there's an intro that throws you off, and that's one of them. I love that. This is Xpwaste. Welcome. We are a podcast that's going to talk pretty much exclusively about old school RuneScape. I say exclusively because, I say almost exclusively because there will be tangents. If that's what you're into, you've come to the right place. If you like old school RuneScape content, you've also come to the right place. We're going to talk about the news. We're going to talk about things happening in the game, things that we like about the game, what we're doing in the game. So buckle up and get ready for that. If you're not new around here,
might I interject very briefly?
Of course.
The game you just lost, by the way. Continue.
Oh, damn, he did it. He did it to y'all.
You ain't heard that one in a
That's
while.
dirty. You didn't have to do that.
You ain't heard that one in a while, but you're still playing and you still
Everybody's still playing. If you're over the age of 25, you're probably playing and you just lost it. So anyway, if you're not new around here, welcome back to the show. We took last week off. That was on me. I fumbled the ball, as you would say. I procrastinated too hard and I forgot to ask somebody to be a co-host with me because my co-host was off having fun without me, as they say. He was just having fun. So, welcome back to this episode. I am mining sandstone this whole episode. So I'm going to have lots of fun. Oxie, how are you?
I'm good. As Michael said, I had a little bit of, or a lot of bit, depending, of fun without Michael this past weekend. It was Memorial Day, and like a week after my surgery back in September, Noah Kahan tickets went on sale. And God love him, he had the audacity to not put Detroit on his We'll All Be Here Forever tour. So that kind of threw that off. So I was looking at tour dates and looking at locations. Like, he had a show in Ohio, which, like, I guess I'll suck it up and go to Ohio for a show, but the timing was weird. The timing was in the fall or something when, like, I didn't know if I could have the time off. I didn't know if my sister could have the time off. So we're like, you know what? How about we just throw it all out the window and we do Memorial Day weekend in Nashville, Tennessee. So we went and it was a great time. The show was absolutely spectacular. Nashville is great. You know, I think when you think of Nashville, if you've been there before, the first thing you probably think of for touristy stuff is Broadway, which we did a few nights. We did Broadway the first night just because we got to Nashville super late, because we left Michigan super late. So we got to Nashville and then walked around Broadway at like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, something like that. And it was good. Went to a bar named after my grandma. It's not her bar, but you know, went to Tootsie's and listened to some live music, and we had a great time doing that. And then we saw like a bunch of other sites and things in Nashville. Food was delicious. I think the town is super cool. I was having a conversation with my sister and my mom about it on the way home that, like, if you want to take someone somewhere who has not been to the United States and you want them to experience the most quintessential America possible. I've not been to Los Angeles. I've not been to like the East Coast, like Boston or anything like that. But I've been to Detroit. I've been to Chicago. I've been to New York. I've been to Texas. I've been to Grand Canyon. Been to a bunch of places. I've even been to Florida. You know, I've seen the Florida man in action. I think Nashville, Tennessee is like the most American place you can possibly go. Between the music and the food and the atmosphere, I think from what I have experienced, Nashville is probably the most America thing I've ever seen in my entire life without being super cringy about it, you know? I'm not usually a big country music person, but when in Rome, you do as the Romans do, and country hits a little different down in Nashville because if you stop and think about it, what are the two most, again, you want to talk about quintessential America, what are the two most purely American forms of music that have been created?
Country.
Rap and hip hop, and then country.
And then country,
right?
yeah.
So going to like not the birthplace, but like an epicenter of one of those places. You know, you got the Country Music Hall of Fame. The music is everywhere. Um, it hits different. I don't know much about country, and Noah Kahan brought out Kelsey somebody, some country singer. I don't know. The arena went nuts when he brought her out because everyone in Nashville knew who she was. She's a big country star. I did not. But she sang Stick Season with him. It was a good time. In RuneScape in the last 2 weeks, because I know that's what you guys actually care about, let's be honest. In the last 2 weeks in RuneScape, I've gotten 299s. I got 99 agility, like I said I would before the last episode. We did a Holland Sepulchre lap. We did a Holland Sepulchre race. Almost all of us made it to floor 5. Almost all of us did. It's okay though. Next time we'll get there. And then I got 99 fletching like 2 days later. So for those of you who remember, I did like 91 to 95, 96 before bingo. No, 91 to 95, and then I smashed out about 300k the night after, or the night I got 99 agility, so I got 96 then. So I did 96 to 99 in the car on the way down to Nashville because we agreed to split the driving between me and my mom. My sister refused to drive just because she's not a fan of it. And my mom said, I will drive through the entirety of Ohio if you drive through the mountains. I said, sold. Oh my God, sold.
Well, you don't like the flat cornfield roads?
We got off in Middleton, Ohio, which is like where boring Ohio ends. Like,
Middletown?
I'm giving Ohio a little bit too much credit. Where not busy Ohio ends and busy Ohio starts, because we're getting into Cincinnati.
Oh yeah.
If you've never been, I'm not, listen, my Michigan bias is coming out and it's just in my blood to shit all over this state. Ohio, in the southern tip by Cincinnati, does this really cool thing where they'll have like 6-lane freeways on both sides. It's huge, going down to Cincinnati, and then in Cincinnati, it's this all big like freeways, and it's curvy and shit, and there's stuff everywhere. The speed limit is like 30 miles an hour, and it's a 55 mile per hour speed limit. In Michigan, you go 75 on 75. In Ohio, you go 40 on 75. Lest those dumbass state trooper cars that are ripping off the Detroit Red Wing design flick you for going 56. I'm not kidding.
Oh my
People were getting pulled over like every quarter mile in Ohio. I don't know what they were on, but it was like it was the most like, holy shit, I cannot go over the speed limit here because I'm 100% going to get pulled over. I got into Kentucky and I was like, oh my God, this feels so much better. And we were chilling the rest of the drive. But because I was a passenger princess on the way down for the first couple of hours, I trained fletching in the passenger seat. And I was training fletching on my phone. And then somebody, I think it was Dr. Gerber in the CC, was like, yo, go into your accessibility settings and turn the zoom function on your iPhone on. And I'm like, hold on, what? And if you do that, you can like set up a little zoom button and you can zoom in on a specific part of your inventory. I think I put a picture of it on Twitter, and I may have put a picture of it in the Xpwaste chat or the Levels and Achievements chat, Skiller's Corner, something like that. Mm-hmm. And my whole phone, like this whole bit right here, was just like dart tip and arrow. Like it was very zoomed in.
Yeah.
So I could just sit there and like do the entire time. It was pretty cool. We got really nice fletching gains. So we got 96, 99 in like 2-ish hours on the way down.
That's awesome.
And I got 99 by accident because I just somehow managed to calculate it wrong, and I had like 600 more darts than I needed, which was cool.
Oh. So you didn't see the fireworks?
I did, but kind of. I was clicking and I thought I like definitely still had stuff to go. And then just out of nowhere in the CC, it was like I saw a bunch of GZs. I'm like, why are you GZing me?
Oh.
Because I accidentally got it. But we got it at a rest stop in Ohio. And then I turned my phone off and didn't play RuneScape for the rest of the weekend. And just completely ignored the Discord and was like, we're having a good non-RuneScape time. It was great. Since I've gotten back, I've gotten like 1 million-ish fishing XP. Drift netting is kind of cracked. It's not the most entertaining thing in the world, but it's mildly more entertaining than barbarian fishing. So if you're on the YouTube version, you see me looking over, that's what that'll be for. Hopefully you don't hear me clicking
I do.
so much, but do you really?
I can. I don't know if the recording hears it.
Do you think that's Discord, or do you think
That's probably Discord?
Is the microphone?
Do you have your noise gate still set up?
Yeah, I set everything up. So Michael and I also got new microphones this past week or so. We're just having lots of issues. I've had microphone issues, internet issues. Like it's been rough. Speaking of new things, the last important development that you guys probably care about.
New chair. Look at him. Look at you. We're gonna have a funeral for your old one. The king is dead.
Long live the king. We did get a brand new chair. I think it was recommended to be I want to say it was Mountain Man DM'd me because it was on sale. Yeah, Mountain Man DM'd me. He's like, dude, the chair I told you about was on sale again. It's like a $450 chair. We copped it for like $210 or something like that.
That's awesome.
Like we got it for super cheap. So the only downside was they had to send me like the version in the box, like the one you had to build yourself. So I'm thinking I did it right, but if at any point you just see me like collapse backwards, I did not build the chair correctly. So
we have pretty similar chairs. Yours is like the Serta one, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't have the Serta one, but they look pretty similar. Mine is much taller though. Like you can see it. You can definitely see it over my shoulders. I can't see yours over your shoulders.
Well, it's because I got a super short chair. You got to remember, I'm only 5'2", so my chair, it's got a real tiny back. It's kind of like one of them little kid chairs.
Oh, that's funny. So you got a new mic. You said you fixed your internet because like last time that we talked, you weren't even able to log into RuneScape, and that may have been a Norton thing.
My internet has been driving me insane, dude. I was about to commit seppuku on Friday. I was so just peeved. Like I couldn't load internet pages. Like I would click Chrome, it would pop up to nothing. I would click on like Gmail, and it would take 10 minutes only for it to bounce back and say the site can't be reached. Like it was bad. Nothing has changed about my Wi-Fi provider. I looked up online what had happened, and I think there's no way Sync just got a second hell puppy in what I assume is the same task. That's great.
Damn.
But I looked it up online, and other devices in my apartment building were connecting to my password protected Wi-Fi via a multimedia coaxial connection, which is like they're plugging their shit into the coax cables in the walls of the building, and it's just registering to my Wi-Fi. So I was getting a bunch of devices that weren't mine on my Wi-Fi. So I'm like, all right, this is stupid. I called Comcast, and the amount or Xfinity rather, and the amount of times I had to go through, explain the issue in detail, and then have them validate my information. I was like Squidward pounding my head against the cash register. Like it was so frustrating and so annoying. I logged into my gateway because when you have like a Wi-Fi router with Xfinity, you can sign into the gateway and like control it from there. I signed in. It showed my Wi-Fi after I updated the password. It was good. We were chilling. I tried to disable the Mocha connection, which is the multi-coaxial, and it kicked me out and said, you don't have permission to do that. I said, that's funny because I'm signed in as a fucking admin, so I should. And I signed back in. They made me change my password again, signed in, and it gave me a different Wi-Fi that wasn't my own. I was like, oh, that's weird. I talked to 1,000 different Comcast representatives. I talked to one person who's like, all right, this isn't good. I'm going to send you through the hoops a couple of times with people. I talked to another person who's like, all right, I think I know what'll help. I'm going to send you to tech, but I'll also have the security team get in contact with you just to make sure you're not compromised. I'm like, all right, thank you. Talk to security. security is not helpful at all. They're just like, "Hey, set up two-factor." And I'm like, "I thought I did." And they're like, "No, you did not." And it turns out because my personal email is used on a different account, it's wacky and wild and stupid. So we set up two-factor. Then I get transferred to technical support, and I'm finally making some headway with this guy. He's like, "Dude, I see your gateway. I'm gonna get in there. I'm gonna dig around. I'm gonna figure out what the issue is." I misclicked the hang up button on my phone when I reached my hand in my pocket, and I almost threw my phone through my sliding glass window because I had been on the phone for an hour and a half at that point.
Oh no.
And then I called back, and I was on the phone for another 45 minutes. Only for them to tell me, yeah, your gateway is fine. Get in contact with the manufacturer of your PC. I'm like, I don't have an Apple computer. I have like a pre-built from iBuyPower. She's like, just get in contact with your PC manufacturer and we'll send you a new gateway next week. I'm like, okay, cool. I went in and I deleted all the other devices that were on my network or whatever that weren't mine. Knock on wood, we've been all right. We haven't been having any packet loss while playing RuneScape. We're able to like connect to applications and web pages and things like that. So like that piece of it is good. Hopefully we're back.
Yeah.
I've talked
so
far
frustrating.
too much. It is, dude. I've talked far too much about myself and my week already. But what have you been up to?
I want to think. Since we last talked, have I had a Zenite?
Yeah, it's been about 2 weeks. Yeah.
I don't think I've had a Zenite since we last talked. So I got one. 384 KC, I think it was on the log, or 88. It was almost 400 KC, which between my two accounts, this is my first ever Zenite that I've ever gotten. I have like over 400 KC on my main, and now nearly 400 KC on this account. I got a lot of springs and a lot of like.
I thought you were about to say I have about 400 KC total between my two accounts. I was gonna say, Michael, what do you mean?
No, way more than that. Most of it was chill. There's a method where you have a main account or whoever has Jesse and a Dins basically tank all of the damage from the demon, and your account that you're trying to get the drop on just does all of the damage. And so probably close to like 2 to 250 KC was done that way. And none of it on task, by the way. So it's, I don't know, but the method is super chill. You don't really need to be on task to do it. But any future Black Demons tasks, I'm going to be doing all of them at the Demonic Gorillas because I'd like to have more Zenites. But I got it. I got the Zenite. TMD made the ring, and Zulrah has been mad chill. Mad chill. Just for like, fun's sake, Oxie, right-click my name and scroll down to the bottom and just read off how many Zulrah KC I have.
He has done this. I'm not kidding. Every single time we've been in a VC together for the last 2 weeks. Holy shit, he's got 40 KC. His first 40 KC done by himself. Look at that. What a man.
It's not my first 40 KC done by myself. But it's
your first 40 KC done for real. Tebow only Zulrah is the only way you kill Zulrah. As you have now learned, ain't the same thing.
It's not. Zulrah is a completely different monster when you don't have a Bofa or a Tebow or a Shadow. It's completely different. I mean, the gear that I have is not like cheap gear. I have a trident and full barrows, and I mean it is cheap gear. You could probably do Zulrah with it's not rags, but I think the difference really is just like the amount of times I killed Zulrah during bingo gave me that confidence to like get the waves down, remember where I need to stand, and just overall DPS. I did a Kingdom Divided the other night, and I have Thralls. Kingdom Divided is it's a long quest, even without reading the dialogue. I've done it now like 2 times. Anyway, that's a side tangent, but yeah, Zulrah's been good. I'm hoping this is my perfect world scenario. I want to get a Serp first, then a Blowpipe, then the Magic Fang. if I get that in any other order, the only other order that I think I would actually cry is if I got a Magic Fang first, because I don't really care to have the Toxic Trident of the Swamp. It would be a DPS boost, but I don't really think that I would want to waste scales on it currently. So Serp or a Tan's Fang would be ideal. If I got anything else, it would just mean more Zulrah. And so it's been really good. It's been really good. That's pretty much all I'm doing is when I have free time, I'm killing Zulrah. Right now I'm mining sand because I'm preparing myself for when I have a blowpipe. I want to be able to cut my own amethyst darts. So then, like, I have my own amethyst dart tips, and then I have all of my kingdom resources basically going to maples so that I can get my own fletching. So I can just, self-sufficient amethyst darts. So I don't have to worry about.
You can give me all your maples.
I'm not giving you my maples, Oxie.
I'll definitely use them for fletching.
No, he won't. So if you're unaware, if this is your first time listening to the show, Oxie and I have a little side bet going on where if I am able to pull my own Tan's Fang and make a blowpipe, then Oxie basically has to log into his GIM, drop what he's doing, and get 99 fire making. And his plan is to just do it with maple logs, making line fires, because he, for some reason, doesn't want to do Wintertod. Wintertod is not the end of the world, but I can see why I guess line fires would be a lot more appealing. But that would
I would rather do the Inferno with iron knives. I would rather do the Inferno with iron knives and no Ava's device than do Wintertod to 99.
That'd be such a waste of maple logs. Let me tell you.
Oh, let me tell you, I've already done the calculations for Oxie fans. It's only about 36 hours of Wintertod, which is a miserable month of Wintertod for me. Just the pace that I do it. If I do a miserable month of Wintertod while doing something AFK, you're in the bin, brother.
The thing is, it's a win-win for me, right? Because nobody else is at a point in their account where they can grind Zulrah consistently. I mean, maybe TMD,
yes,
but
we are. Yes, we are.
Okay, sure. But nobody's doing it. I think whenever we set up this little bet, it was with the understanding and maybe the assumption that Michael would not want to do PVM and he wouldn't be anywhere near wanting to do PVM. And everybody would be so far advanced that they would have their own blowpipes. And, Oxie could just sneakily get 99 fire making so that I can't use anybody's blowpipe. But nobody is getting their own blowpipe anytime soon, at least, unless, you do a few kills and you get spooned. But even then, I don't mind getting my own.
I'm not going to do that, though, because guess what's going to happen? I get my own blowpipe. Michael's going to say, I'm my own blowpipe to kill Zulrah. And I'm going to go,
no, I wouldn't.
I'm not playing on the account. So, yeah, fine. It doesn't matter.
But that goes against
Michael would get
bet.
a blowpipe, and then I would have to fucking get 99 fire making anyways.
Yeah, so it's a win-win for me.
It's more efficient for me to not do Zulrah at all until I have 99 fire making.
That's so true. Which, if you
although I could hold him hostage because he only has 66 fletching. So
yeah, but all of my money,
so if
and
I
all
got
of my
if
kingdom,
I got a Tanzanite Fang, I could just keep that bitch.
You could. But all of my kingdom resources are going to maples. And I haven't done the calculations. I probably should to see how many maples I would need to get. I think currently it's darts. Yeah, it's 90 fletching.
Darts are 90.
Ugh. And you don't even have it. So you're the closest. I think you're at 79 fletching currently.
Invest in
banked XP.
Maple, not maple. What are they called? Invest in what is temple trekking for the bowstrings.
Bowstrings.
It'll cut the amount of logs you need in half.
Oh,
don't get me wrong,
true.
It sucks. But if you have Mauritania 3, the Berg de Rot legs make it much less of a miserable process.
It's very true. Yeah, this was doing the calculations with me stringing the bows that I would be making. Currently, I have like 10K maple logs, and that's only 75 fletching banked from 66. So not even 10 levels, and that's also taking into account me fletching every single U log that I have, which is 1,500 U logs. If I ignore those, then I only have 74 fletching banked. It's not going to be a quick thing. Right now, let me see if I can do the XP calculator, skill calculator. Fletching, 90. And I'll be making maple longbows. Well, I would need 82,000 maple logs to get to 90 fletching.
With or without bowstrings?
Without bowstrings. So 41K maple logs, 41K bowstrings.
It might be time to do other skilling methods to get better logs.
Yeah, I guess. Or
other PVM methods.
Broad bolts.
Time to grind KVD, baby.
I would need 1.6 million broad bolts. That's disgusting.
That's
so
way
much
more
money.
obtainable, though.
It's
It's
more
a ton of
obtainable.
money, but that's way more obtainable.
Damn. So if I went with U, I would need 64K U longbows. I don't know, man. I think it's going to be maples. Raccoon saying flax from Zulrah. And then I could do the spin flax spell. Or kill giant mole. Yeah, Raccoon's got a point. I'm going to get there eventually. Because it's either give you all the maples and then risk you just burning them and not actually fletching them, or do it myself. Which I'm more apt to do it myself, because if it comes down to it and Michael needs darts, I'm just going to want to make my own darts. Which I don't have to make amethyst darts. I can suffer with adamant darts. Because right now, hold on. If I make rune darts, rune dart tips are 89 smithing. Which
Just say, how the hell you get rune dart tips?
I have those. I have 88 smithing banked, but I don't have a lot of runite ore. That's the other thing. I wish, man, born in the wrong century, because adamant darts used to be good, and now they're not. Before the blowpipe nerf, adamant darts were decent in a blowpipe, but they nerfed
bronze darts were decent in a blowpipe before the nerf.
But you could get away with
darts weren't
using
the problem with the blowpipe was the thing. The darts were never the issue with the old blowpipe. It's that thing. It's like it was basically like having like an A10 warthog in your hands that you spit all over to kill enemies. Like that. The old blowpipe was insane.
Yeah, man.
R.I.P. the old blowpipe. Man.
R.I.P. But that's the plan, is just to kill Zulrah a bunch of times. Because here's the master plan. I'd like a Fang on my account, and I proved to myself that I can solo I can solo tombs. And so if I had a blowpipe, that would just make that raid a little bit more comfy. Because I'm sure I could probably kill the Akka ghosts with the Sunlight Hunter's crossbow. But I think having a blowpipe would make that better. Because there's other places where it would be useful. Maybe I was talking to Sinister last night, Sinister RNG, and I was like, dude, I should just like put all of the time and resources that I'm putting into Zulrah, I should just put that into CG and just get a Bofa. He's like, that's an option, because if I have a Bofa, then I could just Bofa only Zulrah, and life would be a dream, as they say in the Cars the movie. So there's a lot of different paths. As an Iron Man, there's never one specific way that you have to do things. You can go a lot of different routes to get to the same destination.
Cyrus would beg to differ.
They would, but if you want to play your own way, play your own game, you can just do whatever you want, really. So I am, I don't know. There's just a lot that I could do on this account. A lot. Because I'd like a Fang, I'd like a Bofa, I'd like a Blowpipe. And then after that, I don't know. Like max, I guess. Do more PVM. Have fun. I was just like, what?
Yeah. We kill Zara 100 times, and I guess I'll just max my account. I don't know. That's what's next, right?
It is. It is what's next. I got 96 mining.
Get a max cape without a quest cape, please.
Oh, that would be fun. No. There's people who have done it. I think Chaos Cleric.
Opposite of a diary pure.
Chaos Cleric has been maxed for a while and only recently got his achievement diary cape.
Yeah, but that ain't the quest cape though.
But if you're maxed, you have all of the skills needed. Like there's nothing holding you back. It's just doing the tasks. But I can see that
Barbarian Assault.
Barbarian Assault, yep. Killing birds at Barbarian Assault is the definite holdback. I feel like that's it. I got 96 mining. I'm 800k till 97. It's like my work / AFK activity. So I'll have 99 mining in the next few weeks probably, and then after that I will try and do rune. I think after that I'm going to try and get rune crafting, because having runes on the account is not a bad idea, but it's like blood rune crafting and soul rune crafting is super, super chill. I could probably go for wood cutting. I might do that. I might like bounce back and forth between rune crafting and wood cutting, and maybe fishing as the 3 AFK activities. Because if I do plan to max this account, if I can have mining and rune crafting done this year, then I probably could max in the next year to year and a half. I'm not trying to rush it, but it's going to happen eventually. There are certain grinds that I'm not like taking into account, like needing like 70 million GP or something crazy to do construction, which that as an Iron Man, like that's cold hard cash that you can't just like, I can't merch to get that. I have to alch or do grinds that reward GP, which CG. I knew they were going to say that in the recording booth. They're like, it's called CG. Duh. I know it's called CG. There's a part of me that's like, do I want to go dry at CG? It wouldn't be the worst, but it would also be the worst. It's a very two-sided coin there. It's like you go dry, it sucks, but then you go dry and you're like, well, it doesn't suck because the benefit of going dry is you have a lot of money and a lot of supplies. And you potentially get all the shards that you need to corrupt the Bofa without having to do more gauntlet. So who knows? That's been my week. My 2 weeks, actually. Just playing the game. Loving the game.
We really shouldn't have any 2-week break periods coming up in the next couple of weeks. I'm going on vacation in the middle of July. That said, I'm going on vacation in the middle of July. So around that time, Michael should be asking somebody to be a co-host, because I will be indisposed, getting drunk at a beach. It's not even really a beach. It's a cabin resort, but there's a small beach there. And we're on the north shore of the bay. I'm getting off topic. It only gets to be about 6 feet deep, which is 2 feet taller than me. So it's not like I can wade the entire way. But
this is like,
I don't know, man.
Every summer he does this. So this should not be a surprise to me or to anybody else. It's your 3rd annual summer vacation where there was a time where
it's not my 3rd annual. It's the Xpwaste 3rd annual.
Xpwaste 3rd annual Oxie summer vacation. There was one that I think our first summer, I had to have like it was like 3 weeks of you being gone or something.
No, that was in 22. That's when I went to Europe. That's when you had to get. I think you got Dills, you got your wife, and then did you
And
get TMD
I
on
got
for that, or is it
Scape.
just
I got Scape,
Scape? Yep.
and then Dills, and then my wife. Yeah.
Yeah. Good times. Good times. But I was gallivanting around Europe for the entirety of that whole stretch. I think I sat in on the recording booth chat for one of them. Like randomly one night in Vienna, you were recording with Dills, and I just like jumped in and muted myself and listened. I didn't mute myself at first, and I was like, "Oh, they can hear me. I'm not muted by default in the recording booth chat. I should probably mute my AirPods."
Speaking of Europe, any news on RuneFest? Probably not.
Man, I don't know. So Michael and I have had an idea, and I realized I texted Michael about it right as I was about to leave Michigan for Nashville, and then left his ass on red for an entire weekend when he responded. So Michael and I still have to work out the details, but I think our game plan. We have 2 tickets to fly to Heathrow, London, England. There ain't no way we're getting that money back. It's in the bin. So whether or not RuneFest happens, your 2 favorite podcast co-hosts will be in London the weekend of September 6th through 10th, I think. We'll be there. We'll be in that area, somewhere in England. Now, if RuneFest happens in Birmingham, we'll be up there. We have an Airbnb rented, and it's going to be a good time. If it doesn't happen, which the more days we go without an update, the less optimistic I'm becoming that it's going to happen. For those of you that don't know, I think we covered it last time. Player One events fired like 90% of their staff, and the staff that they fired were the people who were supposed to work RuneFest, because Jagex no longer has an event team because they let them all go during COVID. I'm pretty sure. Because they had RuneFest and it used to be just run by JMods, not anymore, because COVID kind of ruined that. That said, Michael and I are also probably going to get a hotel in London, because I'm pretty sure you don't have to pay for a hotel until you get there. So we can book ourselves a hotel, and then if we don't end up needing it, we'll just cancel the reservation, or we'll do the same thing with the Airbnb in Birmingham. But that's our game plan right now. We don't know where in London we're gonna stay, but we'll figure something out. And that's kind of our plan right now for RuneFest. So if you guys are going to RuneFest and you're like, I can't get the money back for the tickets, what do I do? Especially if it gets canceled. Consider that. Consider just like hanging out in London. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff to do. You might enjoy it. So I don't know. That's
I saw a TikTok. It was like the best pot stickers in London, and I saved it. I'm like, this may come in handy one day, because I enjoy myself some good pot stickers. And maybe they are the best in London, or that was just the TikTok advertising. But who knows? What are we talking about today? What happened recently that has caused us to not talk about something else, but talk about this?
That's a very vague, cryptic, and almost a little frightening way. That's a very frightening way to say that Michael and I are talking about a blog post. Specifically, it's they redid the While Guthix Sleeps rewards. I know, like somebody in the Xpwaste chat was like, "Hey, can you guys talk about the rebalances?" I feel like not that the ship has sailed, but like we've not touched on the rebalances at all in the lab. Like we touched on them once, and then the consensus was like, we won't know till they come out. Womp, womp. And then we just didn't talk about them again. That was months ago. I think we're just at the point with that. We'll touch on it as needed. But today, While Guthix Sleeps, the next Grandmaster quest coming to OSRS, has had its rewards completely reworked. So the last time we talked about them, we talked about the prayers, which again, we also had the conversation of it's changing. We don't know what's happening with it. And we just left the conversation with that. And they are not even doing that now.
Yeah.
They have,
what the heck?
Not completely scrapped that idea, but they have removed it from While Guthix Sleeps. There will be no additional prayers. There will be no god alignments. Nothing like that.
It still could happen though, right? Because it wasn't unique to Guthix. They have different gods linked to different quests, which they could retroactively change all that later. But it's not coming out with the release of While Guthix Sleeps, which is fine.
It's not a quest reward. I don't know where they're gonna put it in. I think I watched the modcast and I think they mentioned that Desert Treasure 2 was not going to be a requirement for While Guthix Sleeps. Because Desert Treasure 2 is the other end of a story that is happening at the same time as While Guthix Sleeps that will eventually converge into
neat.
What I imagine is going to be a Ritual of the Majorat kind of thing. And that's probably going to be a disgusting quest if it requires Desert Treasure 2 and While Guthix Sleeps. So maybe it's a reward from that. Who knows? But
they do have the quest requirements listed here in the quest journal. Defender of Varrock, Path of Gluffery, Fight Arena, Dream Mentor, Hand in the Sand, Wanted, Temple of the Eye, Tears of Guthix, and Nature Spirit. I wish there was something that you could glean about the quest. The quest has already been released in RuneScape, the original game. So I'm sure that it's going to be very close, but I've never done it. So I have no idea what this quest is about. I hear that it is a very good quest, but I can't glean anything from any of those quests as far as what is going to be needed. It says you need Warriors Guild access, which I find kind of interesting. So yeah, if you're interested in what the requirements are and if you have them for when this quest does come out, the quest list has everything listed. It doesn't have a release date though. It just says release year is 2024.
They did touch on that. Kieran said in the modcast that they can't give an exact date, but they have it pitched for summer, so probably within the next couple of months it's going to come out. And I'm sure they'll give us ample time in advance so we can actually know. And I kind of want to take the day off work. I don't know if I could pull off a Wednesday, but if I could pull off a Wednesday day off, I'll see if I can take the day off work. Just because cool. I don't want to when Desert Treasure 2 came out, I did the first 2 hours of the quest and then had to go to work and did Duke on my laptop and all that. And I don't know. I would like to be at home for this quest. So we'll see though.
That'd be cool. I don't know if I've
still not done Defender of Varrock.
I haven't either. I got to the point on my iron that I could get the zombie axe and then I just didn't finish it. I have a lot of quests left. Some of them are Grandmaster, some of them are not. The 2 Grandmasters I have currently are Desert Treasure 2 and Dragon Slayer 2. I think those are my only 2 Grandmasters left. Yeah. It would be really cool to get the quest cape before this comes out. Just because it might, depending on the complexity of the quest, and if there is any big crazy boss fights, this one could potentially be done before Desert Treasure. I know what Desert Treasure 2 offers, and I know the difficulty level. I don't know the difficulty level of While Guthix Sleeps. If there's a big bad, which I think there is, there's usually always a big boss. But it would be cool to get the quest cape before this one, so then this is really the only one holding me back versus having another Grandmaster on top of it. But
they did say in the modcast that relative to other Grandmaster quests, While Guthix Sleeps is going to be one of the easier ones based on requirements and things like that. And then Rice made a comment in the stream that at the time when While Guthix Sleeps came out, it was the first ever Grandmaster quest, and Tormented Demons were unlike anything anyone had ever seen before in RuneScape. And Tormented Demons were fairly difficult to kill. Nowadays, he described Tormented Demons as pushovers compared to other monsters and things we've seen in the game. I'm still not inclined to think that they are going to beat the DT2 bosses as quests. We'll touch on it a little bit more probably next week. So if you like quests, brace yourself. Next week is going to be a pretty good questing episode. But I would wager that Desert Treasure 2 is without question the most difficult boss related quest in the game.
Yeah.
I don't think While Guthix Sleeps is going to come close to that difficulty wise.
Huh. So I mean,
You know?
if I don't get Desert Treasure 2 done, it like While Guthix Sleeps might be done before. Well, I guess we'll see.
Or get Desert Treasure 2 done first, and then there's no way it can be harder than DT2. I'm going to eat those words. You're going to have like a horrible boss encounter. I just don't think so though. You know, between the big four of DT2 and then the assassin that gets you everywhere, and then the final boss fight of DT2, like that quest is fucking hard.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah, it took me several tries on my max main. So I don't know. That's why I think having the gear that I want would be really nice. Like having a Bofa, having a blowpipe, having a fang. It would just make this content way more comfy. I know that the quest versions are different. They're a little easier than the post quest versions, but I still struggled on my maxed main. So
I can't kill those DT2 bosses for shit. But we're not here talking about DT2. We have a nearly 4-hour episode of Desert Treasure 2 content.
That's very
from
true.
last summer. If you want to go listen to that. That said, what about the items? So they've pitched new rewards, which is why Michael and I are here. They've pitched brand new rewards for Desert Treasure 2 while Guthix sleeps. To make it worthwhile, because the god alignments did not shake out how they wanted to based on feedback. So we have a whole new set of rewards. We have 3 brand new Demon Bane weapons, the Demon Bane trifecta, and then we have a new middle/high tier DPS spec weapon, which is pretty neat. Which one do you want to touch on first, Michael?
I said we just go top down. You mentioned
down?
Tormented Demons. That's going to be, I think that's going to be, unless we already have Tormented Demons. Are they Tormented Demons?
Technically, we do. We technically have Tormented Demons.
We do.
Because we have Demonic Gorillas. I believe, from what I've been told, Demonic Gorillas functionally are the exact same thing as Demonic, or Demonic Gorillas are functionally the same as Tormented Demons, from what I've been told. And I think they've even said, like, in 2016 or 2017, we didn't expect While Guthix Sleeps to be in the game. So we wanted to make something like Tormented Demons to put in OSRS. Fear says, yeah, they just changed style after so many autos, which is basically what Demonic Gorillas do. So if you can kill Demonic Gorillas, you're probably not going to have too hard of a time with Tormented Demons. Whether or not they have a multi-combat cheese method, I'm not 100% sure. I don't really want to fight Demonic Gorillas or Tormented Demons in multi-combat. They're going to be a greater demon, though. So as far as Slayer tasks are concerned, they're going to be killable on task as a greater demon.
That's awesome.
Maybe they'll have a task-only area. That would be cool.
Oh, that would be cool.
If they had a task-only area for these guys post-quest, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. So basically what they're doing is when you kill these Tormented Demons, there is going to be an item called the Tormented Synapse that will drop. I'm hoping it's going to be rare, but not like exponentially rare. And you'll have the option to craft one of 3 new weapons. And you'll be using smithing, crafting, and fletching, respectively, for these. The first one is going to be an upgrade to the Arclight called Firelight, which is going to be an increased accuracy and damage against demons. Which, if you're not aware, all of the weapons here are going to be Demon Bane, which is pretty neat. We don't really have anything but Arclight when it comes to, I mean, there are demon spells, but we'll get into that. So Firelight is it's gonna be require 74 smithing, and the Tormented Synapse will attach to the current Arclight. My question here is, it says it needs to be a fully charged Arclight. Does anybody know what that means? Because what do they count as fully charged? 10,000 charges?
In the modcast, they did say that it is the full 30 shards, like Soggy Waffle says. However, both Kieran and Rice cannot stand Chargescape. We've talked to Mod Rice about this and how Chargescape is a bit of an issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
They mentioned in the modcast that they could potentially make an experimental thing to track the amount of charges you have already used in your Arclight. So it knows, all right, you have used the equivalent of a fully charged Arclight, or you have 10,000 charges in it. So if you've used 2,000 and have 8,000 in there, you're good. You have it all set up. And they said if that works for Arclight and people really like that method, they could apply it to other things. Like, as an example, they haven't said this, but as an example, it could be used to corrupt your Bofa.
That's awesome.
Right? So like that's potential there. I don't know. So at the moment you're going to need the full 30 shards. So if you're training Slayer, hang on to your ancient shards, because we don't know what's going to happen. Even if they find a way to change it, like you can't have too many ancient shards, I guess. So just hold on to them for now. Like you really, unless you're doing a shit ton of team Zammy where you use melee, or you're doing a shit ton of demonic gorillas with best in slot melee weapons, just don't.
Yeah.
Just don't. Just use something else, you know? Save your shards.
I mean, any amount of time spent in the catacombs is going to get you shards, even if you're not on a Slayer task. So
that's true.
If you needed to, you could just kill hill giants or Dagonoths or whatever.
Kill brutal black dragons. Make yourself some money. Kill brutal black dragons. They have like the best drop rate of shards, but they're a good money maker.
Yeah, you kill brutals. I have in my bank right now, I think like 34 or 33 shards. Fear just posted a screenshot in the recording booth of 100 ancient shards, and that guy's not even 99 Slayer. So
yeah, I was gonna say that's 20 to 60 Slayer for Fearguard right there. He's doing great.
He's maxed, by the way. So
and before he says "oi" in the recording chat.
So if you spend any amount of time in the catacombs, you'll be able to get your 30 shards. It's not going to be the end of the world if they don't have that mechanic, but there's time, you know, like if you're listening to this and you don't have a fully charged Arclight and you want to try and get the Firelight the day of release, it might not be a bad idea just to have them on standby.
So pause the episode, get yourself set up to go do stuff in the catacombs, whether it's a Slayer task or you're killing brutals or you're just like machine gunning hill giants or ghosts or whatever. Go do that and then unpause this episode right about here and then listen to the rest of it while you're getting shards. If you've got Dark Totems, Katizo drops quite a few shards as well. So
that's true. And along the way, you'll be getting totems because those also don't require a Slayer task. Just kill things in the catacombs, and you'll be on your way to getting the 30 totems or the ancient shards or whatever they are called that you need. I think they're ancient shards. Fully charged Arclight and a Tormented Synapse plus 74 smithing. So it says in the blog post here that the Firelight will have an increased stab and slash accuracy, as well as the same 70% increased accuracy and damage bonus as its predecessor. Additionally, it improves on Arclight's special attack, lowering the strength, attack, and defense of demons by 15% of their base level and non-demons by 5% plus 1. 5% of their base level plus 1. That's a 5% over a 5% increase over Arclight. So says, with this sword, all by your side, you'll cut through Abyssal Sire and Cerberus like butter. So these upgrades should be more than worth the effort of getting the blade. I think any of these are going to be good against Abyssal Sire and Cerberus, but definitely, it's worth it, right? Like, is the Tormented Synapse going to be tradable? It is tradable.
I believe so. The Synapse itself is tradable. The weapons are untradeable. And you need to have completed While Guthix Sleeps to make it.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So there is some grinding that's going to be needed, but these will, it's not like a free upgrade day one. You can just go and GE scape your way to really nice like Demon Bane weapons, but I don't think the quest requirements are that difficult. I think, hold on, let me look at the highest skill you need. The highest skill is going to be 72 thieving. Everything else is basically in the 60s, high 60s. And then the quest requirements are not that difficult either. Of these, none of them are that hard. I haven't finished Defender of Varrock.
Like they said, it's 72 thieving is going to be the hardest one. But even then, that's not very difficult at all. Don't get me wrong, the 60s is a miserable set of levels to get through. But you think, I need more drift nets. With the training methods that we have right now, you figure Herblore, who knows if Armor Part 2 will be out? Who knows if you'll be able to train whatever. If you're a main account, just do a little bit of money making and get the Herblore from there. Iron Men, you know the drill. Michael and I already have 70 Herblore on our Iron Men. If I have 70 Herblore on an Iron Man, you can do it on a main or an Iron Man for sure. I believe in you.
I think
Herblore is going to be the most expensive. You got Hunter Rumors. Magic is natural. 66 agility at Sears is only a couple hundred laps. I know it sounds like a lot. It's really not. By the time you're considering GM quests, you should have long had Warriors Guild access. 72 thieving is going to be the stinkiest one. And that's it. And you could pyramid plunder your way there. You could already knight your way there. It's going to be stinky. Just do it. This is as far as GMs are concerned.
They did reworks with thieving, so maybe it's not that stinky anymore. Who knows?
It's only the higher level stuff. It's like heroes and paladins and gnomes and shit. Like you really shouldn't be doing those if you're trying to get to 72 because the fail rate is still kind of stinky at the lower end.
You can do it. Yeah. We believe in you. Here at Xpwaste,
for sure.
We believe in you and your ability. Now, the thing about it though is you have to craft these yourself. So the quest requirements might not be that difficult, but for a maybe a broke mid-game account wanting to get your quest cape and actually take advantage of the rewards, 74 smithing, 74 fletching, and 74 crafting might be a little difficult because for me as a mid-game Iron Man, I don't have any of those currently. I'm 72 smithing, 71 crafting, and 66 fletching. I haven't really been focusing on them. I have all of those basically banked, but it's a matter of just doing it. So if you want to take advantage of them, there will be a necessity to train, because one thing that they did make mention, and they really tried to emphasize in this blog, is that normally they have an NPC or something that will offer to make the item for you if you don't have the requirement. Almost any item in the game that requires you yourself as the player to make it, you can pay a little bit extra or do something extra to have an NPC make it for you. If you don't have the smithing and crafting and fletching requirements or whatever it is to make your own bofa, you can just pay a little bit extra in the crystal shards, and there's an NPC that'll do it for you. They made mention in this that they specifically don't want to do that. So get to training, I guess. Are you excited about the Firelight? Of the three, are you excited about that?
I am. I think of the three, it's without question going to be the most useful.
Mm-hmm.
I listened in on the modcast, and they have pretty much said that the Ignited staff is probably going to be Biss at Tormented Demons specifically, with potential for the future. If more demons come into the game, and then they described the Scorching Bow, which is the range one, obviously, as like better than Bofa with its specific niche uses. So, like, if you're going to kill Zami, Scorching Bow is going to be more DPS than Bofa, kind of a thing. But outside of its niche uses, it's going to be weaker than Bofa. The Firelight, which they said they could change the name because the name is confusing. Because with the combat rebalances, this is where it gets confusing. With the combat rebalances, they've made demons weak to water, but they've made a sword specifically called Firelight.
Waterlight.
The caveats of which tormented demons are apparently on fire is their whole thing, and then melee combat doesn't work. It doesn't. The magic system and the weaknesses don't apply to melee, so that's a thing. Modrice was very upset that someone called it Shark Light on Twitter for the water. The water
Shark
version.
Light. Yes.
Yeah, but. Yeah, they might consider changing the name of these weapons because apparently they were thrown together last minute. It's a little fun tidbit. I watched the stream right beforehand, so I'm not like obsessing over what they talked about. It's just I watched it while I was having my morning coffee doing Achievement of the Week. And they mentioned that like the initial blog post, they called it the Demon Bane Trifecta, and they looked at it and said, that kind of sucks. We need to like give these weapons names. And they just sort of like picked 3 quick and dirty, like Fire, Scorch, Ignite. Sure, we'll just put it in there, call it good. And it's kind of in line with like Arclight and Darklight, Silverlight kind of thing. Yeah. I think they keep a light name, but what they do, I'm not sure.
Scorchlight would have been so much better.
It could be.
And then Firebow.
That's lame.
That's very lame, actually. Scorching Bow sounds cool.
We just call it Fire Staff, which is different from the Staff of Fire.
Oh no! Oh no!
It's also different from the Fire Battle Staff.
They could call it,
but make it the same sprite.
They could call it Gaslight, and then tell people it doesn't exist.
Good God.
Good God. Yeah, bad jokes. Why don't you take the second one here?
Well, I think Firelight it's still. I mean, it's still worth talking about because they said it is going to be like second best in slot at places like Duke. Like second to Scythe.
Oh, Scythe. Okay.
Yeah. So I think this weapon it's gonna be cool. I think it's definitely going to be the new best in slot at Sire. I'm not sure if it's going to outdo Scythe at Cerberus. I'm a main with a lot of money, so I Blood Fury Scythe my way through Cerberus. I'm not sure if it's going to be better at Cerberus than a Scythe. But considering your Scythe has doubled in price in the last 6 months, it's going to be best in slot or second best in slot. So that's going to be good. I think the tack is to Scythe during the 5-tick phase of Duke, and then Firelight or Arglight during the 4-tick phase of Duke. So you get maximum DPS. So yeah, consider that. But I think Firelight is gonna be cool. Yeah, it's just Arclight is one of the few niche weapons that actually feels good to use, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like other specific Bane weapons, you kind of have to, like, sacrifice something else. Like, if you bring Demon Bane spells, you can't bring Ancients to heal, you know? And they have a really shitty, like, defense or whatever. Dragon Bane doesn't feel too bad, but Dragon Bane has just been super lackluster lately because there's not many dragons in the game worth killing.
Yeah,
you can't kill with a T-bow, like,
or a Fang.
It's so elitist of me to say that like DHCB and Dragonheart Lance don't feel as good because you know there's something better at a draconic boss. Like that's kind of where I'm at with it, you know? Like Lance is not best in slotted chambers, Scythe is. DHGB is not best in slotted chambers, Tebow is. It's not best in slotted Hydra because Tebow is best in slotted Hydra. I would argue Vorkath is a great spot to use him, but is Fang still good / better than Lance at Vorkath? Because I know for a while when Fang first came out, Fang was way better than Lance. That's why Lance hit the bin. But I don't know. I think Dragonbane is cool, but Arclight has consistently felt like this is a very good weapon. Even compared to a Scythe at places like Cerberus, Arclight still feels really good. So I'm excited to see an upgrade to Arclight because it'll make anything demonic that much nicer to kill. You know?
It's a bunch of demons too. I think the thing that I'm excited for is that once it's made into a Firelight or whatever they choose to call it, it won't have charges anymore. It'll just be a sword that you can use and not feel bad that you're wasting, charges on Abbey demons, for instance.
I know,
or like
right?
greater demons. Like, I don't want to have to think about the fact that I'm using a Demon Bane weapon, but every time I swing it, it uses charges. So then I'd end up just taking a whip. But after this gets released, it's gonna be even better, and it won't charge. It won't take charges. So I think what's gonna happen in the future,
it's essentially gonna be like a corrupted Arclight that is upgraded when you corrupt it. Like it's gonna feel good.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking is going to happen is if they don't make it to where you have that mechanic where it can remember your charges, people are just going to not use their Arclight until they have the 10,000, and then they're going to go and upgrade it. Arclight will kind of be an unusable weapon until you get While Guthix Sleeps done, and you can upgrade it, because I guess along the way of you getting your shards in the catacombs, you could be using it, but there's really nothing there that's worth wasting the charges on.
I will give a counterpoint or two to that. Mainly two counterpoints. Number one, you don't go through charges that quick on an Arclight. Like you use a charge every time you hit, but like a couple hours at Zami, a couple hundred demonic gorillas, it's maybe 1,000 charges.
That's true. That's true.
It's not a lot. Like you're not like, it's not like when you like Scythe Blood Fury, and you're just like hemorrhaging GP per swing. It actually, the drain rate is pretty fair for Arclight charges. And then when it comes to things like Tormented Demons, Demonic Gorillas, Cerberus, Abyssal Sire, Duke, if you don't have a Scythe, right, it's absolutely worth it to use your charges.
Yeah,
like
I guess that's true.
There's always the common like it's the cheese wheel problem in Skyrim. Like I can't use these cheese wheels because eventually I'm gonna need to heal with them in battle, right? I can't use these potions because eventually I might need them somewhere else. And you end up beating the entire game without using any potions because you're concerned, oh, maybe I have to wait to use the potions after this. This is why you have the weapon. Right? Demonics without an Arclight sucks.
Yeah. I used my Arclight the whole time. I used probably
please use
1
it
or
at
2,000
please
charges.
use it at Skatizo. It's definitely still going to be worth it to take. But I agree. Like taking Arclight on a greater demon task sucks. It's so bad. It feels so bad. Like just take a whip because you're cutting through charges unnecessarily. So like greater demon task, don't take it. Krill task, take it. That's the kind of, you know what I mean? Like,
it's just going to not feel bad after Firelight, which I'm so excited for.
Oh, it's going to be great, dude. It's going to be great. My question is, do they say that this is a reversible thing? Like, can you reverse Firelight if you make it?
I don't think so. Why would you want to?
This money?
Money? What do you mean? Like is it like, you're saying like it's a permanent upgrade?
The weapons themselves are untradeable. And I'm concerned if if it's a permanent upgrade that you cannot reverse and remove the synapse off of Arclight to make it just like a regular Arclight again, Tormented Demons are not going to be super profitable for super long, especially if their drop table is anything but garbage.
Mm.
You know, if they have a demonic gorilla adjacent drop table, and then they have a one-time upgrade that is tradable, it's going to be the Arclight problem. The Arclight. It's going to be the Arcane problem. It's going to be the Avernic Defender problem, where we see a significant dip in the price of the item. Because While Guthix Sleeps is not going to be a very hard quest to complete. You know, a lot of expensive quest rewards are also tradable in a way. You know, with the exception of like the Vestiges, right? Those aren't necessarily tradable, but they've held up their value, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But look at Zenites. Zenite jewelry is all tradable. They're worth a bunch of money. Venator shards, all worth a bunch of money, you know, because the Venator bow is tradable. I had one more. What's the thing? I had thought and then I lost it. What do you get from? Oh, the jaw. The jaw is a direct upgrade, but is also reversible and thus tradable. It's like a 20 mil upgrade. So, like, I'm hoping it's reversible for the sake of being able to kill these things for profit.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know about you, but I smell a bingo tile here. And if they are worth no money, that's just going to feel bad. So,
unless they make these weapons tradable.
They won't. They've already said they're all untradeable.
But like
they're upgrades, but they're upgrades to tradable They're untradeable weapons, right?
No, so the only one that's a direct upgrade to an actual item is the Firelight. The staff and the bow are just created.
Oh, so you just fletch and craft it. Okay.
Yeah. Which I guess at this point, they kind of either need to make the bow and the staff tradable and then make like the Firelight reversible. Because like what you said, like it would kind of feel bad that you're just slapping the synapse on something that you can never get it back. But like if you were to make the bow or the staff at another time, they would that you could get the money back for them. Huh. I didn't actually think about that. You.
I don't think the bow and the staff are going to be nearly as much money. I don't think it's going to be like the enhanced crystal weapon seed, where like one of them is second best in slot everywhere, and the other one is just sort of like there, you know, and one of them helps it hold the value.
Yeah.
I don't really think that the bow or the wand or the staff or whatever it is are going to be super useful anywhere.
So let's get into it. So
I could be wrong. Yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah,
I could be wrong. But
yeah, well, hopefully you're wrong. I mean, this is like we always talk about new items, and I always try and when we talk about new items, I always try and have some forethought of it's not useful now potentially, but it could be in the future if there was to be a new version of a demon or whatever weapons have come out. Like they have Ratbane weapons. Mm-hmm. We only have one rat boss, but who's to say we won't have? Who's to say we won't have
hard mode?
Right.
It's just reskinned Theater of Blood and all rats.
That'd be kind of fun for like a April Fool's thing. Like it's Theater of Blood.
That'd be a fun April Fool's if they replaced Verzic's model with Scurius, like a super big version of Scurius for April Fool's. It's still Verzic the entire time, but that'd be a lot of fun. That'd be stupid. Could you imagine Behold My True Nature, but it's Scurius instead of Spider Verzic? Guys, come on. That's definitely April Fool's waiting to happen right there. That idea is free, J-Mods. Go for it.
If you're listening, hit us up. We'll help you. Why don't you talk about the bow? And I'll talk about the staff here in a bit.
Sure. Scorching Bow, pretty straightforward. It's a bow that fires arrows. It does not have a fire damage effect. It has a Demon Bane effect. It also has a special attack that is a 25% special attack use, which is pretty neat. where you can bind the enemy for 5 ticks, inflicting burn. And the time is increased to 20 ticks against demons. So it goes from what? 3 seconds to what is that math? 12 seconds is 20 ticks? Is that how that works? I don't know. I think so.
Let me see.
Yeah, I think it's 12 seconds. So you bind them for a little
12.
while, freeze them in place, and then you deal burn damage. I'm not entirely sure what the math of the burn damage is, but it's got 30% increased accuracy and damage against demons. This will be pretty nice for like all my Chasm of Fire enjoyers are gonna like this weapon. I'm not a big Chasm of Fire guy. I skip the hell out of those tasks because single combat demons bore the shit out of me. I don't want to do it. But for my Chasm of Fire enjoyers, this is going to be pretty good with the safe spot. It's not going to be better than Tebow at Krill. What is, right? Like that's at this point, they are making it very clear that the 3 mega rare weapons are going to remain best in slot, because I think that's been with the introduction of the Fang, that really started the downfall of like mega rares may not be worth it in all situations. And I think they're trying to get back to like, if you're going to fork over the ducats for this weapon, it's going to be useful a ton of places.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're trying to devalue Tebow by doing that.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a new second best in slot range weapon at Krill, if you're a ranging Krill, which is viable. It's good for solo, and it's half decent in a team to range. Yeah, it can use dragon arrows. So they even alluded to in the stream, which I don't think they will anytime soon, but they did say that if they ever were to release a brand new arrow type, it would also work with that as well, because the accuracy and strength would scale off the arrows, not the bow itself. So
Third
cool.
age
So you can
arrows.
God, those would be expensive. Skillaxon says, I wonder what a 4th mega rare would even be. I don't know, and I don't know what that would even look like. Because tangentially, I thought to myself, what would a 4th raid even look like? And hear me out, just so we can get this idea out before they announce it at RuneFest, because they're definitely going to steal this idea because it's so awesome. It's a sailing themed raid. You hear rumors about it from a quest, almost like a Beneath Cursed Sands-esque kind of quest, where you hear of this like cursed archipelago or whatever it is. And when the raid actually comes out, there's like a shipyard that acts as the lobby with a privateer board, which is the lobby board like you see in every other raid. And you and your boys get on one ship, or everybody takes their own ship, and you sail to various different islands that have different challenges and different bosses until you get to the very final island, and the whole thing is dinosaur themed. So you fight like, I don't know, like it's hard to make it sound just like anything but TOA, which I don't really want to do because Lord knows how I feel about TOA. But maybe it could be randomized like Chambers, but at the very end you fight a big old T-Rex. That'd be cool as hell. And maybe you have to fight it from the boat and then also fight it from land as well as a 4th raid. But what would a 4th mega rare weapon look like? We have no idea. Maybe it's our first hybrid weapon.
Oh, a bow sword.
It could be a bow sword. It could be. God, that would be. Could you imagine that?
What? A bow
That would
sword?
be. Yeah, like a weapon that deals significant range damage from afar. But then if you get in like melee distance of something, you can switch combat styles. And then it's like, but how do you make that worth it?
I don't know.
Because then at that point, you have to make a bow sword that is, as a mega rare weapon, better than both Bofa and Fang in its respective niches to make it worthwhile. God, a 4th mega rare is going to be hard, dude.
Well, maybe they don't have.
Are you sure you want another raid with puzzles in between bosses? Listen, Fear, it doesn't have to be puzzles. I'm just saying, let's flesh out the content a little bit more. It could be another Tob style. You fight a couple bosses, then you fight the final one. Everybody knows Tob is great, so obviously we know that formula works. But I don't know.
Maybe we
Just in
don't
case
need
they pitch
another. Maybe we don't need another mega rare.
what's
I don't know what the point of another raid would be, but maybe we don't get a fourth raid because we don't have the need for another mega rare. They did it. They did it.
but that seems so disappointing, because if you look at the cadence of the releases of raids, right? We had Chambers of Zarek in 2016. We had Inferno in 2017. We had Theater of Blood in 2018. 2019 was okay. We had some decent releases. I think the big boss of 2019 was Nightmare and Hydra. Those were the big scary ones in 2019. And then COVID hit and it put the entire game in shambles, and nothing. Maybe Nightmare was 2020. I have no idea. Like early 2020. I don't remember. But the game was in shambles for a little while. COVID happened. They rebalanced everything. And then we didn't really see anything of note until I want to say it was the Summer Summit 2021 when they announced Raids 3 would be coming to the game. And then it was like Raids 3 was 22, and then they've released major quests every year since then. So Raids 4 seems like it could be announced at RuneFest in the Summer Summit. Potentially. I don't know. Maybe they just don't make it sailing themed because of that. Maybe they wait a year because of sailing. Maybe another mega rare is actually an upgrade to your ship, right? Who knows?
You know what they should do, right? Gallahorn. Rocket launcher. It's a magic range weapon.
I was like, you mean the rocket launcher from Destiny?
Yeah, just port it over. It won't break anything. It's AoE range weapon that functions as a magic weapon. Gallahorn's broken, and it's amazing.
Okay. No. Hold on, Michael. Because you're talking about a weapon that deals range damage or magical damage, but rolls off of your range level and your range damage?
And it's AoE.
Hold on now, Michael.
Gallahorn explodes, and then mini explosions target everything else. Pretty sure it's Gallahorn. Yeah. That's the hybrid weapon we needed.
It would be fucking, I don't know.
It's
It'd
got
be
legs.
fucking terrible for this game, but it could work.
You know what
it's got legs to stand on.
What they could end up doing is just making like range, melee, magic. Range, melee, magic, right? We're in a cycle. So the next raid offers another range mega rare that has similar, maybe it's like it has similar potential as a T-bow. It's not going to like devalue the T-bow, but it just functions differently, but it's as good as a T-bow. So you have different choices for what mega rares you go for. Like instead of magic level, it could roll off of another stat or something. But
maybe it's just fast. Like maybe the whole thing about the new range mega rare is that instead of trying to compete with T-bow or like ZCB or Bofa, we have it compete with blowpipe with attack speed, and give it some sort of cool effect with attack speed. Where the fast, like obviously the faster you're attacking, the more DPS you're going to do, but like to serve as like it has a low magic level but a decently high defense. Use blowpipe 2, blowpipe harder, the mega weapon from Raids 4.
It could be an upgrade to a blowpipe. And Zulrah makes an appearance in this raid somehow.
It's just Zulrah. It's that Zulrah hard mode that we talked about a couple weeks ago. God, that's such a bad idea for a boss design, dude. We've tangented again. Scorching Bow is a weapon. It's a Demon Bane range weapon. Yeah.
Sire? It'll be nice at Sire events.
Oh my God, I keep forgetting about that. It's going to be so nice at Sire. Holy
because what if you could just like what if you didn't even have to worry about the vents and you could just range down Sire until he's dead? I don't know how that would work because like you can damage Sire while he's in his little perch.
Okay,
I don't
so
know.
that doesn't deal damage to Sire. That is
The
essentially a stun
stun.
timer.
Okay, never mind.
It's how much damage you do. You need to do 75 damage to him to stun him, to do damage to the ventilation systems, to then get him to walk his fat ass off his chair and then come fight you, right? I had to do that in the first Trailblazer League. I beg you. I literally beg you. Please, please, please take Shadow Barrage. Do not manually try to attack Sire to get it down. It is a horrible experience. It's a horrible, horrible
it's like 10-minute kills.
Shadow Barrage. It's bad. It's real bad. But when you stun Sire and you can have a Demon Bane range weapon that deals increased accuracy and damage to those goddamn respiratory systems, holy
you could probably
shit.
Kill
I
all
am so
four.
excited.
All four at once.
Respiratory Runner just got that much easier, boys.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited because that's the worst part of the Sire fight.
Oh, for sure.
Damn, that first phase is without question the worst part. God, they were on some shit. They were on some shit in that early old school days when they were planning some Slayer bosses.
Yeah.
It's like they got two of them right. No, they got one of them right. They got Cerberus right. And then they eventually got they made Grotesque Guardians better. Because there used to be like that unskippable cutscene used to be every
terrible,
single kill.
Dude.
The unskippable cutscene was every single kill. You could not deal damage to Dusk or Dawn several times throughout the fight. And the kills just took forever when GG's first came out. They got Cerberus right. Kraken's broken. Sire is terrible. Hydra's not too bad.
Thermy's a joke. Yeah.
I think the idea was like typeless damage is going to be really hard to protect against. But then might I introduce you to twink, teleport, go back, just do it over again, you know?
Well, they were just like, they were all about that typeless damage. Like you can't pray mage against Kraken, but it's shooting obviously mage spells at you, but it's typeless damage, so it's not going to do anything.
They really did have a thing for that typeless damage, huh?
It's like Kraken would just be
snakelings are typeless.
Yeah. Come on, Jagex. It made sense, right? Because if you're going to make mechanics that weren't like super hard, the easiest thing to do is just make them ineffective against what are they called, like protection prayers. It's the easy thing to do. But I think if they were to rework the Slayer bosses for Cerberus, for Sire, they would. I would suggest taking out 2 of the respiratory systems. That would make that boss chef's kiss. I wouldn't complain if there's only 2 respiratory systems, because right now as it stands, I think like if you're decently good at Sire, kills are like 2.5 minutes, which isn't the worst, but it's unnecessarily long. So I'm excited to see what the staff and the bow are going to do for Sire's respiratory systems.
I will stick my Infernal Cape in the font of consumption to permanently disable the respiratory systems at Sire. I swear to God. I will pay. Name your price, Jagex. I'll do it. I swear to God, I'll do it.
10 Unsires at once. By then, you don't even need to do it anymore.
God.
Gosh.
No, you do. Okay, guys, do not stack Unsireds. Like, this is not even a bingo thing. Unsireds roll when they drop, and they roll based on like a dupe protection thing for the parts of the bludgeon specifically. So if you have a spine and an accent in your bank and you stack 4 Unsireds because you think, oh, I'm going to make 2 bludgeons back to back and make a shit ton of money, there's a very real chance you get multiple if you have the axle or whatever, you get the 3rd piece. There's a very good chance you get the 3rd piece like 3 times if you're rolling a bludgeon piece, because it rolls based on what it thinks you don't have. So please do not stack Unsireds. It's not worth it for a pet turn in. It's you lose money doing it. Don't stack unsireds. Just pop them as soon as you get them.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's one of the few bosses where I say do not back to back when you get a drop. It's not worth it. Just go run it and then do the back to back after you pop the unsired.
And get back to back heads. It's the worst.
A little bit of back to back head around here. Anyways, the staff.
The ignited
Wizard.
staff. This one I think has probably the most interesting of the three when it comes to like how it works. So rather than giving you an outright damage boost against demons, this weapon instead autocasts the combat spells from the Arceus spellbook. On its own, that doesn't sound like a great reward, but using demon bane spells will double the bonuses of using those spells. So right now, I don't think there's any staffs that will autocast. Maybe they do. Maybe there is. But they're not like super viable to be using.
The Kodai might be able to. Maybe. Because I remember there's a combat achievement to kill Krill with only Demon Bane spells. It sucks. And I think the Kodai might be able to autocast it.
Fear just confirmed in the recording booth that the Kodai does.
Yeah. So Kodai can do it. Cool. This has a built-in, it's a built-in special attack.
Ooh.
It's pretty
So
neat.
the Ignited Staff is a special attack. You must be on the Arceus spellbook to cast it. And you must be targeting a demon. When used, the special attack will cast the highest available demon spell at your target. If your target is killed by the spell, it'll restore 25% of your special attack energy, and the delay on your next attack will be reduced by 3. So it's a little bit better.
That's only if you kill a demon, when a demon is killed. Okay.
Yeah. It's basically Death Charge with a little bonus. I was using Death Charge before I just slapped on my my Light Bearer when I was killing Sire. Death Charge is not that great when you consider that we have. Well, maybe I'm just like Oxie's appalled for all you audio only listeners. Maybe I'm just not using it in the right places, but Light Bearer is pretty decent. No, Death Charge is really good. Okay, where is Death Charge good then?
So here's the thing, right? Light Bearer is better than Death Charge. Light Bearer is objectively better than Death Charge for charging special attack because it does it twice as fast, and it doesn't matter whether or not it's active or whatever. The reason Death Charge is good is because the Berserker and Altor rings are significantly better for damage per second than the Light Bearer ring is. Because why, Michael? What's the best way to kill a boss in RuneScape?
Kill it fast.
Kill it faster, baby. DPS is king.
I guess you would be using Thralls then too.
Yep. So you're already on Thralls for the extra DPS. You're already on the Arceus spellbook, so you get the Thrall DPS. You have the increased max hit from the Berserker ring or the Altor ring or the Venator or Magus ring, depending on what style you're on. Death Charge works with all 3 styles. Death Charge, the main 2 uses with Death Charge that I have found are either A, you're killing a boss that has a minion that is Death Chargeable, right? The 2 examples that come to my mind are Maiden Verzik at Theater of Blood. Those guys both have little crabs that come out. And they... What's the word I'm thinking of? If you kill them, you get the little extra 15%. It allows you to dump an extra spec or a different spec, right? So it can bump you from a Chally to a Claw spec, depending on where you're at in the fight. The other one is Hespori. You can use it at Hespori to get, again, another Chally or another Claw, depending on, or another DPS, depending on how the fight itself is actually going. Because you can use it on the flowers, right? So you either use it on a boss that has a minion, right? Or you use it in encounters where special attacks are very important and you're going to be there for a while and you're also taking Thralls. Cerberus is where I use Death Charge a ton. Death Charge at Cerb is good shit. Death Charge at Seracnus is good shit.
God Wars?
It helps you. I don't think I have gone to God Wars where I have not tanked in 2 years.
Oh.
So I don't know about that. I don't think it's particularly useful for all my Nex enjoyers out there. I don't think Death Charge is useful at Nex. It's good at Nex? Okay. Oh, because of the Blood Reavers. Right. Yeah, it helps extend encounters. It helps you do more DPS. Death Charge is super, super cool.
Well, there you go, guys.
The only caveat to the special attack with this weapon, are they going to make magic finally viable for demons?
Well, here's the thing. These demon spells you'll have double the bonuses against demons when you're using this staff. So I would imagine, hopefully, yeah, like they gave demons weaknesses to stuff on the standard spell book, but nobody really uses like the demon bane spells because like who has a Kodai laying around? But like if you're going to be killing demons, there's Arclight, you know? But if it gives you double the bonuses, it could be good. Could be good. And the magic damage bump percentage is 10. So when it comes to like a staff, I think it still has legs to stand on. The special attack itself probably is the strongest of these because from what we just heard, 4 different people in the recording booth or 2 people in the recording booth and Oxie were just going on about Death Charge. So if this is giving you that Death Charge effect, it's going to be viable. Of the 3, probably the weakest. Where, you know, if we're going in order, Firelight, Scorching Bow, and then Staff. But again, this could be just like there's maybe a meta waiting to happen with this one. Don't like take it out of the running just yet.
I think another thing to consider is because we don't use it and a lot of players don't use it, you don't consider it, but Mark of Darkness is also an Arceus spell that when active, like basically makes all your Demon Bane spells super powerful. I think right now by default, Dark Demon Bane, which is the highest one, it's like tier 70 something magic to use. It is, what do you need? What's the damn, it requires 82 magic. It's got a base max hit of 30 with no equipment on. And if with no equipment, if you cast Mark of Darkness, the accuracy bonus is increased to 40%, and the player does an additional 25% damage, which is applied after any bonus damage for equipment. This means that this staff will double the doubled stats of Dark Demon Bane with Mark of Darkness. So currently, Mark of Darkness, Dark Demon Bane, with absolute max mage is 53. On a Slayer task, it is 60. Presumably against demons, right?
So that means like you could
demons at this works.
Use magic and be hitting 60s against like Serb and Sire on task.
Yep, on task but it also depends on their magic defense, right? If it's,
yeah, that's true.
It depends on their magic defense, but if you can, I don't know if it's like actually doubling the double, so like you're gonna hit 120s or anything like that. But you're going to notice a marked increase in your accuracy in particular. So you should be able to hit quite frequently with Mark of Darkness and this new staff. And you're going to have pretty solid damage if you're bringing absolute max with you to fight whatever. The weapon itself has a 10% damage buff. And I think the Staff of the Dead, this is what they use in the examples, is a 15%. So it might be a little bit different because of the difference in magic damage of the actual staff itself. But yeah, we're talking, guys, some nerd shit today. Let me tell you, this is some nerd shit we are talking about today.
That's the cool thing about RuneScape is like you run the DPS calcs and like you figure out the meta. Like you figure out where these things are useful, and they're going to be useful. That's what I think is the cool thing when you have a new trifecta against demons. There's so many demons in the game. We were talking last episode about, or maybe it was last episode, but a Serpent Bane would be cool, but like how many serpents are in the game currently? Not a ton. If they count, if they don't count Zulra as a serpent, it's kind of a hybrid-ish monster. It's an experiment, but there's a lot of demons currently, and the potential for these weapons is already there with the potential. I mean, like more demons coming in the future. The thing that I wish they would stop doing, that I hope they don't continue to do in the future, is like make a demon, but then say it has demon bane resistance. That's cheap, and that's a cop out. Like, don't make Duke a demon.
That was strictly for Scythe to be best in slot at Duke.
Silly.
Strictly, that's the entire reason why that was a thing. And then they fucked up and made Fang super viable there because Fang had a slash feature. So it's the only reason why.
Yeah, but I'm just hoping that.
But again, there is still a case to be made.
Yeah. Just the big question whenever this blog came out is like, will Firelight be better at Duke than anything else? Like, will this? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But will this be like bypassing anything with Demon Bane weakness?
So Firelight's not going to be best in slot at Duke because you're going to lose attacks because of the 5-tick cycle until the Enrage phase, in which it will become.
Then it will be better than Arclight.
Better to not lose DPS. It's better than Arclight, period. The question isn't Arclight. The question is Scythe.
True.
So if you really want to be max efficiency, you take Scythe and Firelight, and then once Duke enters the Enrage phase, switch to your Arclight and your Avernic, so you don't ever miss any cycles. I have like 2 Duke KC, so I couldn't tell you. That's just what I've grown to understand, listening to whatever. So
I think I got 1 Duke KC during bingo, and I was like, "This is I'm done." This was like I'm like 5-1 right now. 5 deaths, 1 kill, 1 KC.
I've done a couple trips at Duke. I've done a couple bingos where I've done Duke. Duke is probably the easiest of the 4, in my opinion, to kill. I did Whisper over bingo, and I used to really enjoy Whisper before I sold everything for a T-Bow, and then I went back with a Shadow and Max Mage, and I was like, I don't know why I'm so bad at this. This is horrible. But Whisper is fun.
Just a lot of mechanics.
My true issue is Leviathan, because I don't think I have anything to kill Leviathan with.
Isn't Bofa best in slot there? You don't have a Bofa, right?
No. It's either Bofa or ZCB is best in slot at Leviathan, and I have neither one of those weapons. Because T-Bow sucks at regular Leviathan. It's best in slot at Awakened Leviathan, but it sucks at regular.
Yeah. There is one more. If we're done talking about the staff, there is one more on this list that doesn't technically fall within a trifecta. Oh, hold on. I do want to confirm. They did say the bow, the staff, and the firelight are going to be untradeable. Because underneath, I couldn't find anywhere where they were talking about it, but
that's why I said it.
Yeah, you're talking about it should be reversible. But like, if you craft it into its thing, I don't know that there's going to be a way that you're like uncraft it or dismantle.
No, not uncraft. Unattached from the arc light is the question. You're not going to be able to reverse it once you craft it for the other 2 weapons. But is it possible? Because my concern is you're only ever going to need 1 to 3 of these things, right? Yeah, if you're a main account,
the
who already has a lot of money. Like if you're a main account who already has a lot of money, you're only going to need 1, because Scorching Bow ain't going to be T-Bow. Ignited Staff ain't going to beat Shadow. Firelight's going to be decent over Arclight, because you will still take Arclight or Firelight or whatever they call this new weapon.
The Fark
some
light.
Places. Yeah, Sharklight. You'll take
Sharklight,
Shardlight.
Shardlight.
I think it's worth it, but you only ever need 1. If it's not reversible, there's no monetary reason to get more than 1. So eventually they'll dip in price as people, notably as the endgame community already has their firelights and just sticks them right in the bin,
Well, then this 4th little treat here might be why you continue to kill the demons. And it might be because of the burning claws. I don't understand the need. So if you have any extra insight on these, I would say take it away, because why do we need dragon claws but worse? Is it to fill that niche, I guess? Like to say like there's still claws coming from this boss, but they're not the dragon claws, because the community as a whole voted and said, no, we want dragon claws to stay in chambers. That's why,
which
I guess
is the good choice, I think.
I think originally I actually voted to remove them from the table and put them on these demons.
You would have seen dragon claws plummet to like 2 mil, 100%. If it can be killed as easily as demonic gorillas, dragon claws would have dropped in price like that.
It would really just depend on the rarity. If they were like a 1 in 5,000, they wouldn't drop that. I mean, it wouldn't be.
But then they're dead content, and it's not fun. You know? I think at this point in old school's lifespan, in the branching timelines, in old school, they work as a raid reward just because they have been for a while. And again, when they released Chambers, they didn't think that While Guthix Sleeps would ever come into the game. You figure it's been 8 years since Chambers came out. So 9 or 10 years ago, when they were planning this raid, they didn't think they were going to port a bunch of shit from RS3 over, because that is not what the community wanted in 2013, 2014.
Yeah.
It's literally the opposite of what they wanted.
Chambers was what year? 2016?
I want to say it was
2017.
Either late 2016 or like January 2017.
Yeah, the game had been,
I think,
like 3 or 4 years old at that point. Like the release. So I get it.
So the question of burning claws, right? I will say there's definitely some piece that is like, this is a very nostalgic and important quest for not only the players, but also the J mods. Like Kieran spoke about in the modcast, like he did While Guthix Sleeps the day it came out back in the day. Like it was an exciting time. It was a hard quest. It's very important to the lore. It's very important to the lore of the game. And I don't know how to describe it. Like the real life lore of the game, you know, like it's like it's the Warthog run in Halo. It's the, you know, it's very important to the core of RuneScape. And I think they wanted to keep that sacred with having tormented demons drop some sort of claw, because prior to the evolution of combat, tormented demons were great money makers because dragon claws were disgusting, right? They were very good pre-evolution of combat. I never used them as a kid, but again, heard stories, watched videos, done all the things. The other reason is to say that why do we need dragon claws but worse is the exact same thing as saying why put Virtus in the game? It's just Ancestral but worse. Why have Bandos? It's just Torva but worse. Why have X? It's just blank but worse.
True, I guess. Yeah.
It's to have something in the middle, right? Because the two current options, there are 3 viable options for DPS spec weapons in the game for most situations. And for most situations, there is DDS, which you unlock after Lost City and costs 17k on the Grand Exchange. And there is Dragon Claws, which is a 97 mil raid unique item. Or there's Void Waker, a blade that must be acquired in 3 parts, also costs 90 mil, and you can only get the shards from monsters in the deepest of wilderness in multi-combat zones. So it's something in the middle, right? It is not as arduous or painful as having to grind raids or grind wilderness bosses. It's also significantly harder than doing a 5-minute dialogue only quest and getting access to DDS that you may already have in your inventory because you bought it before you did the quest. I think the level requirements line up for it, because I want to say they're making it like
65,
tier 65, I think. Yeah. It's got a special attack, which is better than the DDS's, but worse than Dragon Claws because it's less hit splats. Rice went off on this whole tangent and explained how the math behind it works. I don't understand it, and I'm also not going to describe it here. So go watch the modcast or look at Rice's spreadsheet that he posted on Twitter if you really want a breakdown of that mathematically, because you're not going to get it from us. It's meant to be middle of the line. I think that's fine. I think in a perfect world, Burning Claws sit between 10 and 12 mil, and they do less damage than Dragon Claws. They do less damage than Void Waker, and they are very comfortable for mid to late game accounts because you don't ever like need to buy claws, right?
Yeah.
Especially when we tell people all the time, if you have your first 100 mil, spend it on a lot of other shit before you buy Dragon Claws. Even on a rebuild, you have more important things to buy than Dragon Claws. So Burning Claws are going to be a good substitute for it. So that's why I think it's going to work.
And it has a unique ability. It says the Burning Claws will also work the same as the Dragon Claws, but giving you a chance to inflict burn. While burnt, the target will deal 10 damage over the course of 40 ticks. So 1 damage every 4 ticks. And that can stack up to 5 times. So 50 damage over 40 ticks doesn't seem that bad. Stacked, if you've got the hit splats, I guess, or if you've got the special
about
energy
specs, which could work pretty well. Or it's good for multi-combat bosses.
Nice.
It could be, obviously I think D claws are still going to be better, but I can see this working at like Tob, where instead of dumping D claws, you dump Burning Claws for the extra damage. It's not going to be better than Dragon Claws. You bring Dragon Claws to bloat, not Burning Claws. But if you can't afford Dragon Claws, who knows?
Yeah, I still expect these to be fairly expensive. Like you said, what? You think like what? Like you said 10 to 15?
I think them sitting between 10 and 20 mil is probably a good comfortable amount, because that's kind of about where other middle of the road upgrades sit. Because if you think about it, again, other than Bandos and Torva, most of the other mid-tier upgrades are about 10 to 30% of what the best in slot is. Like full Virtus is 100 mil, Ancestral is like 400 mil, Really hard to draw a comparison with Missouri, because it's the only thing that requires or has a mage strength or range strength in the armor. It's also really hard to draw comparisons with melee weapons, because the Fang is criminally cheap, and the next best upgrade to the Fang is like 100 times the price. So, but again, Bofa's 100 to 140, Tebow's 1.5 to 1.7. It's about 10% of the value. So I think it fits.
Yeah. Nice. There will probably be a poll at some point, but right now, if you're listening to this around the time this episode comes out, you can go to the blog post and take their survey. They have a survey rather than like initially just pulling these right off the bat. They want to get your feedback, and the best way to do that is with the survey. And I'm almost positive they'll likely have beta versions of these before the final versions are released. And all of this is subject to change. So you heard it here, but in the coming weeks and potentially before the quest comes out, this stuff could change. So
you might hear it differently. Who knows?
Yeah. Could change. It could not change. We don't know. They are, I would say almost certainly they are going to tweak these from their current versions to rebalance them, or just scrap them altogether, and we'll potentially get different rewards, or we'll only
really
get one of them.
They don't scrap them. Surely they don't scrap them. It's a poll about a quest reward. You know damn well this is almost all gonna blanket pass.
It will definitely pass, but it won't be without some sort of change. If I was a betting man, I would bet all of my money against This, as is, going to poll and passing. I am almost certain that some of this stuff is subject to change.
What specifically?
I don't know, man. Like,
are you just saying that because you don't assume that it will go through, or do you have like legitimate cause to believe?
I don't have any qualms or qualls, whatever the word is, with any of this stuff. But I'm thinking like, there's going to be like a special attack energy that gets reworked, or there's going to be some sort of stat change or little mechanic tweak after they get the survey done.
They already have. They've changed the level requirement from 75 to 77 for all of the fire demon bane weapons. They've changed the level requirement from the claws to, I want to say there's 65 attack now.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't changed the smithing requirement. I think 30% special attack sits comfortably in between DDS and claws because you go from 4 specs to 3 specs to 2 specs,
I'm just saying, the stuff that we talk about here, I'm almost 100% certain is going to get tweaked. So, don't take this as as like the final rendition. And if you have any feedback, obviously give it to Jagex after you've read through the blog and you're like, well, that doesn't make sense. Take the survey, hit them up on Reddit, hit them up on Twitter, whatever you got to do to get your voice heard. I'm sure that they're definitely looking for feedback on these. So find the best way to do that, obviously. But any final thoughts on this blog before we move to break?
No, I don't think I have any final thoughts. I think we've talked about them for a really long time. And
yeah,
if you're not a quester, next week we're going to talk about quest stuff.
Ooh.
Of things you should prioritize in quests. And then maybe Michael and I will plan a few more episodes going out, because after doing this episode alone, I have a couple of ideas for episodes that don't revolve around us reading a blog post.
Nice.
Because that's not our ball game. We read the blog post when it's super relevant, super important, but we got to get back on the horse and like actually do some content for you guys that isn't reading a blog post or doing the little Bob dance thing that Michael just did.
That was me galloping.
We can keep the dancing. We can keep the dancing. But we gotta no more blog posts, So yeah, we will hit you guys with that very soon. We're gonna go to break because I need to refill my water bottle and go to the bathroom, and then it is community section time. Because we're 2 weeks. We're 2 weeks without community section. And we'll be back after this.
The giant spiders keep ruining my quests. I can't take it anymore.
Tell me about it. I can't even mine without those aggressive scorpions attacking me.
You getting tired of being ambushed by creepy crawlies? Well, look no further. Introducing the one and only Splatmasters. I know I ain't the only one that's been pestered by unsightly scorpions and Alcarid. Splatmaster can take care of that faster than a carpet ride to a cactus. And I don't know about you, but I noticed ever since Scurrius broke out of the gate in the sewer, I've been seeing more rats in my house. Splatmasters will come in, set up, and get it handled with our state-of-the-art Splatmaster Cannon 9000. And I know what you might be thinking. A cannon? Ain't that gonna tear down my house? Don't worry, we got you covered. Just give us a call with our sister company, Buildmasters, and we'll get you set up with a quick repair for a measly 2 million GP, of course. Now, what are you waiting on? You gonna sit there and let these mice chew holes in your walls, or you gonna give Splatmaster a call and we can tear it down before they even get a chance to tear a hole in it? I mean, get rid of the rats. Cut that out. Now, don't wait too long, you hear? I just got one of these prepaid phones with about 4 days left on it. To be honest with you, I ain't had a customer yet, so I don't know how I'm gonna pay for next month. Splatmasters can handle all your extermination needs, from rat to scorpions to the man in Lumbridge if the price is right. So give us a call or send a carrier pigeon if it's been more than 4 days. Splatmasters. We might not hit the mark, but we sure make splat.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that commercial because I know that I sure did. Folks, it's Patreon time. We are here to talk about the people who support us monetarily every month at various tiers over on patreon.com/Xpwaste. You guys are wonderful human beings for whatever tier you support at. First things first, as it always is, the wise old men are on screen right now, giving you a little bit of a window into who is generous enough to support us at the wise old man tier. This tier used to be read out loud, and then we had so many people subscribed at wise old man tier that we had to stop doing that because it was extending the Patreon segment for a long time. And the people who were in the wise old man tier were like, please just get back to the episode and stop listing our names off, which was a really cool experience to have. So these lovely wise old men are on the Patreon screen thing right now. Yeah, there's a little cool wise old man chat head next to it. It's pretty neat. Before we get into the King Black Dragon patrons, I don't know how I'm going to cut this particular part of the episode to make it sound good, so we're just going to roll with it. Michael DM'd me in game and said new wise old man, which I completely forgot was a thing. And then we had to jump through a bunch of hoops to find who the new wise old men were, because it's June 2nd, so we had to do this whole big rigmarole, but we're here now. We actually figured it out. And I'd like to give a big shout out to Kyrandia, Eric D., and Punkus, who have all joined or upgraded to the wise old man tier for the first time. Welcome to the party, folks. It's a good day. It's a good day to have you guys in the wise old man tier. You guys have already been on the list while I fumbled through the first little bit, and now I'm doing this part, so you guys should have your adequate recognition here. I think now it's time to shift to KBD. I already did this transition once, but I don't know if it actually made it into the episode. So we're going to talk about the KBD folks now. Our top tier supporters who pay at the highest level to get shouted out every week here by name by us on their favorite podcast, the Xpwaste podcast. That was not me stalling to reapply the filters on Patreon, I promise. So without further ado, huge shout out to Apathy, Boston, Broke 70, my dad, hi dad, Cloud Kicker, Corpse Fiance, Damon S, Dicky Bird, Elite Oreo Dunker, episode 89, time 0 hours and 9 minutes, Missouri Inferno Cleric, MT Birchfield, Oxie's number one favorite demon 666, our third favorite supporter Ralph, Run Metal 15, Soggy Waffles, Seppi J, Sparky Life, the Big G Jordy, and the Crayola Tallymorn. You guys may have seen that bit, the episode 89, minute 9. That was Swole, and I don't know what he's referencing, so I'm going to look that up right now. Swole, you got to hit us with a direct link, because either I'm stupid or I have no idea what the hell you're trying to talk about with this particular bit right here. Yeah, thank you to the patrons. Thank you specifically to the KBD patrons who have gone out of their way to support us financially. You guys are truly incredible, and we thank you very deeply for your support. If you would like to support us on Patreon, head over to patreon.com/xpwaste to support monetarily for as low as $1, or let us know you like us by supporting us for free. Yeah, hang out, do that. We'd love to have you there. Speaking of self-promoting, we don't often talk about the merch store, but we're going to today. So as our lovely model here will show off for you guys, we do have a pride shirt that was made by the Straight co-host, which is pretty funny. And it's June 2nd, and just for laughs, right? Just for laughs, head over to xpwaste.shop and buy this shirt, as well as any of our other super delightful collections of items. We have hoodies and other stuff, shirts and things like that. I don't have the store open. I'm trying to drift net. What do you guys want from me? Head over to that store that's linked in the description down below and use code PRIDE for 15% off your entire order. And additionally, all the money we make in merch sales are going to get donated to an LGBTQ charity. We're not sure which one, because the default is the Trevor Project, which would be a good one. But maybe there's another one that we could help out with. Who knows? We'll figure something out, but it'll be a charity thing. You'll see the receipt at the end of the month. We'll donate to it. So yeah, go pick up some sick ass Pride merch. It's very hard to find good Pride merch. All of my fellow folks in the Alphabet Mafia with me know Pride merch sucks usually. I'm a little bit biased, but I think our Pride stuff is pretty cool because it's simple and not in your face about it. But yeah, check it out. Like I said, code Pride for 15% off your entire order. Go do that. And while you do that, I'm going to hand it over to Michael so I can stop self-promoting and Michael can talk about the community question.
Hell yeah.
So what you got for us, Michael?
Hell yeah. We asked you guys last week, do you think that the High should be classified as a snake, dragon, or other creature? I'm going to read off the ones from Spotify, and then I will read the sad and lonely single response that we got on YouTube, because whoever posted this episode forgot to post the community question on YouTube.
Is it Jordy?
No,
Is it
surprisingly,
Jordy?
it's not.
It's not even
our boy
Jordy.
Jordy.
Oh, you let our boy down, dude.
So sad. So sad. Anyway, we asked you guys, how should it be classified? Taylor said, I thought that MFer was a bird. Okay. I mean, yeah, kind of looks like a bird if you ask me. Fizzman15.
That's kind of funny. I'm not going to lie. That's kind of funny.
It's good. They said MF. I thought that MF was a bird. I just added that extra little spice there. Fizzman15 says, I think they should have stuck to their initial plan and not pandered to the Dragonbane community. I kind of agree. I'll get that off my chest now. I think that Serpentbane would have been cooler, but I don't know, like Zulrah killers maybe would be upset that Zulrah
Not
is
going to be better than
easier.
Tebow. Not gonna be better
Listen,
than
not
Shadow.
everybody has a Tebow and a Shadow. I need you to realize that.
But the people who complain ad nauseum do.
Nobody who has a
That's the
Tebow or a
thing.
Shadow need to complain about anything because that boss is child's play.
You can
If you have
tell
a
Michael
trident
does not.
and a
You could tell he does
freaking
not use his
crossbow.
Twitter account. Just go on RS Twitter for like a day. It's only the GMs
What's
who like
Twitter?
have chat heads of themselves in a Zuck helm.
X.com.
Actually bitch about this game. Actually bitch about this game are the people who play it a ton and have all the stuff. Any mid gamer who's like, oh yeah, dude, I have a new weapon to bring to Zulrah that's a little bit better than my rune crossbow, they'd be thrilled. It's the sweat balls who bring Max everything that would be upset about it. And no Serpentbane would ever outdo the Twisted Bow or the Tumecan Shadow.
So then why does it matter?
Should have been.
Like the only
It
place that you're
doesn't.
going to
That's
use
just-
this.
Listen, I'm not saying it matters. I agree it should have been a Serpentbane weapon, but
Jagex,
I
there's
wouldn't
still
have
time.
upset the Zulrah community.
There's still time.
The botters would have been thrilled.
Oh my gosh. There's still time. Next up, Otis says, at first, I thought it looked like a griffin. Griffin isn't badass enough in my opinion. I feel like we have enough dragons in the game, so my vote would be snake or some kind of hybrid. By the way, Oxie, GC on 99 agility. Hell yeah.
Thanks, man.
Next up, Chips Face says, snake makes the most sense for horizontal expansion so they can add more gear in the future. Also, shout out to Michael for the radius marker suggestion for Hunlif. I have done over 70 CG now. What? That's hype, dude. Hell yeah. Congrats.
Sounds like it's time to get up there, Michael.
Time to go to CG instead of doing
The
solo,
radius
Michael.
markers and no KC.
Anyway, Ben says, I really love the idea of making a snakebane weapon, but I would love to have considered a winged serpent, but I would have considered a winged serpent a dragon, or at the very least a drake. I think you hit the nail on the head with the last episode that like, this is not your typical dragon because it's in the Mesoamerican style or whatever that is. Like, it's a serpent. It's what the serpents of that style are. Yes, it has wings, but that doesn't mean it can't be a serpent. Pixie says...
Interestingly enough, dragons are a cross-cultural human fear. If you look at, there have been any like major civilization throughout the duration of human history has a dragon myth in there somewhere. There are always dragons because a dragon, for like the fun tinfoil hat conspiracies, it's like, oh, dragons had to exist at some point. Every culture has one. No, it's because if you look at what a dragon is, it's a combination of everything humans are taught to be afraid of. It is an angry reptile. It has wings. It is very scary. It has very sharp teeth. Sometimes it has breath weapons. Sometimes, especially if you look at like the old medieval style, like Eastern European dragons or whatever, they almost look like they have lion heads instead of serpent heads.
Yeah.
So it's just things that we find scary, like inherently as people. We just sort of put all that shit together and said, yeah, this is the scariest thing that ever lived. That's why there's always a cultural myth of a dragon everywhere. The ancient Chinese, the medieval people, the Ojibwe people, they all have a dragon. It's in some form or another. And I imagine Codals came from somewhere similar. So
it can't just be a coincidence, though. I am in the camp that at some point dragons existed, or a creature like a dragon, and they went extinct. Because like
there's lots of creatures like dragons that existed.
Dinosaurs.
Called reptiles. Not even dinosaurs. We didn't even know about dinosaurs until the middle 1800s. And the depictions of what we thought dinosaurs were then were nothing like what they are now. See what you did? You said the D word. We didn't even know dinosaurs were a thing until 200 years ago at most, right? Thousands of years people have been talking about dragons because they are just everything people have been taught to be afraid of. If you see a snake in the grass, regardless of how old you are or where you're from, naturally you're going to go, oh, I should not touch that. I should go away from that, right? Like, you might develop reasoning and logic as you get a little bit older to say like, oh, that's a garter snake. That's not going to hurt me. But like, at its core, we don't like snakes. We don't like big reptiles. We don't like things that can actively hunt us. We still got that primitive genes are in there that says, hey, motherfucker, you are not the top of the food chain around here, right? We have the brains and the tools and the empathy to be top of the food chain now, but like, that's why people don't live in the wilderness by themselves, because they get killed by shit. They get hunted by shit, you know? PvP sucks. PvE sucks in real life, you know? It's not fun.
It's true.
So,
shout out to all the Australians listening.
Hard mode Earth.
Hard mode Earth. We have to move on, Oxie. We have to move on.
We do. I'm just saying. Don't lump dragons in with dinosaurs. Don't do that.
I will never do that again. I promise. Next up,
fun but not accurate.
Pixie says, Michael, I've censored this for your delicate ears, but I was freaking fuming when I heard that the High Coda was draconic. Either make it a dragon or stay true to the culture. I think they're doing one of those and they're making it a dragon. So I think what he means don't make it a dragon and make it true to culture.
I think the argument is like, if it's gonna, don't even make it a Codal.
Okay.
Just like change it to be something else.
That makes sense. Yeah. Nate Dogg says it should have been a serpent with lizards, Zora, and maybe Leviathan reclassified as such. Maybe give Olm a double classification as a serpent and draconic. Waiting for the new Demon Bane argument. Argument.
Demon Bane good. Demon Bane's in a fine spot. Demon Bane, like we said earlier, it actually feels good to use. So
there's enough Demon Bane, guys. Let's get some Serpent Bane. Chris Y says, Snake. I like the idea of having other types of specialized weapons, i.e. Arclight and Dragon Hunter. This allows more powerful weapons in the game without constant power creep. Exactly. Yo, Danicus here, your number 11th fan. 11th. Honestly, I don't believe we should be assuming monsters race. The they thems will cancel you. Love the content. Ooh woo, OMG. Let's go, D's nuts. LOL. Sweet. I read that word for
Who
word.
the fuck is that guy?
No idea.
What the? They thems will get upset at you. It's Pride. It's Pride
You
Month.
can't do that.
We in the queer community are legally allowed to just start swinging.
There
in
are
June.
our number 11th fan. 11th. That's hard to say. Danicus, we should never assume anything. That's like, just don't assume. Crocodile Rock says, Oxie, that's not how auto attack delays work. Come on, man. I think you need to go back to the drawing board on that one, Oxie. I think last time you said that since the attack, the one like the auto cast delay or something is getting removed, now everything's gonna be one tick faster. It's all gonna be the same speed. You just don't lose that tick on the first one, the first cast. I don't know if you're. It's been 2 weeks, but I think you did say.
Is that how that works? Is that no? I know what I said.
You just don't lose.
Is that how
the
that's gonna
delay
work?
when you run? When you stop attacking and you run to a new spot. Let's use butterflying as an example. It's not that you get a one, like it's not one tick faster every attack. It's that when you run, you don't like you can instantly attack as soon as you get there, and you're not delayed on that first attack. I listened.
You're 100,000,000% sure.
Yes, I listened to the unreleased, as of today, Guthix Rest episode that they did in their recording booth, and Sparry said it. So I trust.
Well,
Sparry.
maybe I'll believe them if they ever released a fucking episode. Sparry, please make Bird do it. Bird, help a brother out.
I'm going to put this out
please.
there. So maybe if it's public, he'll do something about it. But I offered to edit an episode for them. And Sparry said, no, I would never want you to do that. That's fine. I offered. He didn't even ask me. We could do it. We could make that partnership work because it's free. Yeah, I think you're wrong, Oxie, and I think you need to rethink that thought process there. Because that would be cracked if like them removing a one tick delay made everything one tick faster. I don't think that's a rebalance. That changes the whole game.
Okay. I guess I'm wrong.
Thank you, Crocodile Rock. Mockcat says, first, this was not a fun question. It was kind of depressing, and I think the boss should be a snake/serpent, since it's based on the serpent god. I want them to create an Ouroboros boss. Mockcat, where's second? He said first and then stated something, but never gave us a second. Maybe that's next week. Maybe that's
think
this
it was-
week. He'll like his next
Maybe
response
it
will be
was-
second.
First, the fun question wasn't fun. It was depressing. Second, I think we need an Ouroboros.
Maybe.
boss.
What's an Ouroboros?
It's a snake that's eating its own tail.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool.
We've had a bingo tile named Ouroboros twice, I'm pretty sure. And it's both been the Hydro tile.
Huh. That's fun. Jason says, next up, Jason says, aren't dragons just serpents with wings? Kind of. I mean, no. No, they're not. Because serpents don't have legs. That's like the distinct thing. Worms don't have legs, but they're kind of like more snake than dragon. Who knows? Damnation says, I'm with Oxie. I like when OSR's content feels and connects to real life culture. The more specific cultural stuff, the better. AKA hashtag snake gang. That was a little aggressive. I'm sorry. Hashtag snake gang. Dinosaur, next up. Dinosaur says, I'm fine with them making it draconic. We've desperately needed more things to use the Dragonbane weapons for a few years now. Though, I also agree that a theoretical Serpent Bane niche would be dope. Yeah. I agree. It would be very dope because we need more snakes in the game. Tor says, snake over Drake. Unless they did a God's Bane. Ooh, God's Bane. Yeah, because
That'd
like
be
everything would
fucked at God
be
Wars.
everything aligned to that god would be weak to it. Next up, Wesley says new class should just called Snick. New class just called Snick. It's hard to disagree with that one. It's hard to disagree. I think overwhelmingly, we still have a couple more, but like overwhelmingly, people want there to be a snake bane or a serpent's bane. And I'm really struggling to see how how they just got Dragonbane out of this, you know? Like they had to complain really hard. Really, really hard. We have a couple more. Daniel says Ganondorf from Zelda as a swan. Is that what it looks like? Hold on. Ganondorf. I know the guy.
Yeah, I can see it.
Ganondorf.
Kind of. I can see it. Yeah.
Oh, I can see it. That's hilarious.
As you say, you can see it. You can see it a little
That's
bit.
hilarious. As a swan. Hell yeah. Nicely done, Daniel. Finally, on our Spotify, Evie Chicken says, fine with it being a dragon. We don't have snakebane weapons, etc., so why not? More uses for the dragon hunter weapons. I guess so. But isn't the whole thing that like this boss is dropping a weapon that would be good against dragons? So like, yeah, more uses for Dragon Hunter crossbow and Dragon Hunter lance, but do we need another range specific dragon weapon? Or I guess this would be magic then. So then we have the dragon trifecta.
It was originally something different, remember? It was originally like an auto casted thing. It was like a 3-tick wand or something like that.
Oh, it is going to be a wand. You're right.
Yeah, it was a 3-tick wand that was going to sit like below the warped scepter. And then people were like, that niche is already filled. Simultaneously, while bitching about the whole, it looks like a dragon, it should be a dragon re. So they're like, fuck it, anti-dragon wand. I think that's how that came to be.
I hate this community sometimes.
I don't. Well,
you do though. You do sometimes.
Not in this instance. Not in this instance.
Sure.
Because like, yeah, like it's gonna be cool. Because I just got done saying how Dragonbane doesn't feel as good because there's always something better you could be using unless you're like meleeing Vorkath. I think Vorkath period is the only boss in the game that Dragonbane truly feels best in slot. Unless I'm forgetting something. Like Tebow is best at KBD, Tebow is best at Ulm, Scythe is best at Ulm, Tebow is best at Hydra. Drakes and Worms. I guess you could use Lance or just don't do that task if you don't have to. Tebow's best at Brutal Black Dragons. I don't know. So like, yeah, it'll be cool to have a boss where it actually feels way more viable again, but I don't know.
We'll see. So that's it for Spotify. We have one response on YouTube, like I mentioned earlier. Gruely says, it's actually kind of funny because they posted the question and then answered it, which I am so appreciative of, but nobody like replied to their post to answer the question. So it's just Gruely.
It wasn't the pinned comment.
I'm pinning it right now. They are already there. Gruely says, let the game devs do game dev stuff and not be influenced by the community. Too much is already picked via polls, and they need at least a sliver of creative freedom. So I would liken that to he wants it to be Serpent Bane. But I agree. Let them be devs. But I also think that community feedback is good. So there is a very, very thin, like, there's a thin line you have to tread for that to be your stance. Is like, feedback is good, but also let them do what they want to do. Because if we let them do what they want to do, we could see EOC level things happen to this game, which I think the fact that we have the polls has stopped that from happening, because it's created this like mindset around the game that they have to always do what's best for the community, and they have to basically like formulate content that they know will pass a poll because they have a finger on the pulse of the community, rather than just like sitting in their office creating what they think is going to be fun. So the polls are good, but it's also detrimental to game design in some aspects. That's going to do it for the community question. Thank you so much to everyone who answered last week's, or the last 2 weeks rather. If you want to answer this week's question, it will be, what is your favorite of the 3 new Demon Bane weapons that is going to be coming from While Guthix Sleeps? You can answer that question in the community question section on Spotify, or the actual pinned comment on this YouTube video. I'm going to throw it over to Oxie.
Make sure it's pinned for you guys this time.
Yeah, for sure. Throw it over to Oxie now for achievement of the last 2 weeks.
Yes, it is achievement of the week time. We have 2 weeks of achievements, which as always means we have a shit ton of achievements here to go over with you guys today. We're going to kick things off in the miscellaneous category, which is actually pretty bussin' this week. I don't know what got into you guys these last 2 weeks, but we have a ton of people doing a ton of different miscellaneous achievements. Kicking us off, we have 3 quest capes. Lost Leaf, Buddy Time, and Logger Clay have all achieved their quest cape this week, one way or another, by completing all the various quests in the video game, as it were. Additionally, W Laser completed his diary cape. Suffix got his music cape and his diary cape. Chaos Cleric got his diary cape. AFK for a bit got his diary cape and his music cape. And Seymour got his something, which I saw and then forgot to write down, but it was recent. And Seymour got his diary cape. All right, there it is. I knew I had it somewhere. Sweet. That is how that all happened in the miscellaneous categories. We actually we don't see a lot of those capes frequently. So over the last 2 weeks, you guys have really put work in to get that done. In the combat section, we do have 2 brand new fire capes. Turpentine and the Scarlet Walrus both defeated Jad for the first time and obtained their first ever fire cape, which is awesome. We do love a good first fire cape around here. Additionally, as far as firsts are concerned, my boy Soggy Waffles, shout out C4, killed Gauntlet for the first time. Roy killed Zulra for the first time. And UIM Puns, Modern Major General, also shout out to C4, and Morg 708 all killed the Corrupted Gauntlet for the first time. In the combat achievements section of Achievement of the Week, Quest Caper got some sort of combat achievement done, but I don't know if you realize this, dog. You just put a screenshot of Gommel's head and said you should be expecting a reward with no context as to what combat diary it was. So Quest Caper did some sort of combat achievement diary. Additionally, Grim N achieved the hard combat achievements, and Shinkiro, once again, for a third shout out to C4 boys. That's what I'm talking about. Completed the Master Combat Achievement Diary and is now a member of the Verzikhelm gang. Dr. Gerbert, the man who helped me get 99 fletching in the crustiest way possible, got his Missouri kit. We have 2 new quivers this week, with Goose getting it on his main account and Dazman getting it while we were at the break. Dazman got his quiver. Huge for the account. Additionally, I'm Shucked achieved Belorva. In the post, he said, don't ask me how many orbs it took. I'm going to guess somewhere between 300 and 400 orbs, if that's where you're pushing. Maybe 250 orbs, which I wouldn't blame you for. Orbs are cheap now, by the way. You guys want to try to get Belorva. Finally, after 26 attempts and 5 Zucks to round out Achievement of the Week, Ratty Cole achieved his Infernal Cape. Congratulations, brother. You do not have any more combat challenges coming your way that you will not be able to overcome with the Infernal Cape. I know, like, I say it every week. Like, obviously, Blorva's objectively harder in short bursts. You know, it's very punishing. You make a mistake, you have to pay more money and do it again. There are a lot of pieces of content that are objectively way harder than Zuck himself, but I think the confidence that cape brings when you finally do it, it really, like, who cares? You'll get it eventually, right? You know, if you don't get your quiver, if you don't get your Fang kit, if you don't get Blorva immediately, you'll get it eventually because you'll have that confidence and it really will make a difference. So congratulations to you. Shifting over to the skilling portion of Achievement of the Week, this one's a big one. So brace yourself. We have a lot of 99s here in these last 2 weeks. So kicking us off, Throw X Up has achieved 99 Mage. Radical, making his second appearance on Achievement of the Week, has achieved also 99 Mage. Pronus achieved 99 Woodcutting and 2100 total level. Gowerly, or Gowerly? Gowerly. Yeah, I've raided with him before. I don't know why I blanked on the name pronunciation. Gowerly has achieved 99 Mage, HP, and Agility. Eighth Try has achieved 99 Mage. 1 GP Richer has achieved 99 Fishing and 99 Cooking. Cuddle Team has achieved 99 Range. 2 Fly has achieved 99 Prayer. Bargle Flim has achieved 99 HP. Elvish J has achieved 99 Mining and 99 Defense. Boston Sport has achieved 99 Farming, I think the first on his Iron Man. Dark Star 65 has achieved 99 Strength. Drop Zone has achieved 99 Cooking. Hypaflare has achieved 99 Crafting. Jack's GIM, shout out to the last like 3 or 4 teams I've been on with Jack. My bingo team members, old and new, are doing work this week in Achievement of the Week. He achieved 99 hit points. Smiley Prophet achieved 99 Slayer. Ryukason achieved 99 Construction, who wasn't on a TNL bingo with me, but he was in a Raids Bank bingo with me. Bussy Baron achieved 99 HP, unless it's a Bussy Baron. Either way, W. Trash Pats achieved 99 Prayer. La Lutte achieved 99 Agility. Morgue 708, with their second appearance of Achievement of the Week this week, achieved 99 Thieving. Eisenberg achieved 99 Mage. Indoor Kite achieved 99 Fletching and 99 Construction. Modern Major General, with his second appearance of Achievement of the Week, achieved 99 Strength. White Light West, who I think is Big Kyle or formerly Big Kyle.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I think so too.
Because I saw the achievement, I saw something pop up in the CC, and then I'm like, I've never seen that person before. And it had like a higher rank cape. I'm like, who is this person? I think it's
100%.
It's Big Kyle.
I just added them.
But
former name, Big Kyle 9000.
Okay. Oh, I was so confused for a second. I'm like, who is this? It's Big Kyle, but now known as White Light West, has achieved 99 Magic. Gay Raccoon has achieved 99 Crafting. Dodian has achieved 99 Cooking. I don't know how I got Craftic out of that. 99 Cooking, Magic, and Farming. Rust of Fury, with only 3 99s left to max, has achieved 99 Fishing. Darox Dab has achieved 99 Range. Ja Dead, aka Ja Ramsey, aka Ja Chef, has achieved 99 Cooking. And while recording, Billy H has achieved 99 Farming. There are a few more people left to shout out in Achievement of the Week. All 4 of them have done the exact same thing. So, without further ado, Miniacs, Coyotes, I think that's how you say the name, Coyotes? I'm not sure. Suffix and Rosgin all achieved 2277 total level and have maxed their accounts this week in old school RuneScape. Huge GZ. The grind is finally over. You guys can now play the game and enjoy the game. And you know, people do always joke about that, like, oh, you can finally play the game, But like, when you're in a maxing grind mindset, I know Michael knows about this, it's hard to enjoy other parts of the game. Because especially if you're like, oh, I have to do it by a certain time, or I really just want to get this done and over with so I don't have to do it anymore, it kind of changes your perception on some things. And you're really like, I just want to get this done. I want to play other games. I want to do content with the boys. I want to raid. I want to do solo bosses. I want to do combat achievements, but that's not going to get me 99 fishing. God damn it. Like it's that kind of mindset So you guys have done it. You guys are finally free to play the game. So congratulations to all of you. I apologize. I was not at most of your guys' maxing parties. I was at the concert, I think, when Suffix and Roz maxed. I was really disappointed because I've been talking to them about the maxing journey for like over a year, I feel like, at this point, and I really wanted to be there. And then I had no service in the concert, understandably, and then saw a notification afterwards about their posts and levels and achievements and thought, holy shit, I made the event for that and I couldn't even make it. So I do sincerely apologize that I wasn't able to be there. And then I was only at Coyote's maxing party, or maybe it's just Coyotes. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I don't know. Because he literally said in the CC, he's like, 514 Warriors Guild, 2 minutes, a maxing party, be there. I went, what the hell? So I just teleported to my driftnet gear and just like stood around for a second. And then he maxed and then I left.
Hell yeah.
So I don't know.
It's really funny. Soggy Waffle said earlier today, he's like, Michael is getting Solar KC in his free time, and Oxie is on his way to maxing. How the turntables? And I just want to point out,
how the turntables.
I messaged Oxie and I said, I'm going to read it to you. I said, you're underwater, but you could be in a chamber or a tomb. And he said, I could, but neither of them will help me push back against the XP per day. And how the turntables. Absolutely correct.
I did agree to go on a raid last night.
Yeah, I saw that. And I was very offended. Sorry, go ahead.
I went on. Well, let me tell you how well this raid went. We went on the raid. I was exhausted following my fencing tournament. And I was like, I'm going to do one and then I'm going to go to bed because I'm just so tired from the tournament. I did epee, I did saber, and then I hung out for like 6 hours for the foil tournament because foil is a stinky weapon and it takes too damn long. But my whole club does foil, and we have really good foil fencers, and we supported them to the end. And then when your last teammate gets knocked out in the semifinals, you have to watch the final because who in the hell? Oh my god, the final was so good for foil. Even though I think foil is stinky, the final was really good yesterday. But we were there for like 14 hours. It was a really long day.
Oh my gosh.
So I was just chilling, doing driftnet. They're like, "Oh, send one raid," and I'm like, "Sure." It was like Tecton Guardians, or what's it called?
Vespula?
Who's the crocodile?
Muta.
Nope, Mutadial, and then Vespula at the very end. And we're like, "Oh, dude, Vespula. We have like 2 shadows, 2 T-bows. We'll be fine." And then it was a wipe. We wiped at Vespula, and we wiped at Vespula with like 4 max combat mains. And like, it was just bad. So we're like, you know what? They said run it back, and I said no, I don't think I will. Respectfully, you guys, I love you. I'm going to bed because I'm exhausted. So I sent half of a raid last night. Didn't even make it to Ulm.
SMH, dude.
And I gotta tell you, dude, at this point, like my heart yearns for the Valley. I've been watching like Valheim build videos and shit. Like I wanna play other games. Holy shit, do I want to play other games right now? It's a burning desire. I need to get fishing done so I can just AFK Redwoods for 2 weeks and like not pay attention to whatever.
Minecraft?
It's possible.
Minecraft. The face.
I want to play a game with meaningful progression. No.
Anyway, finish achievement of the week.
To all the haters who say we can't do it, we're gonna do it. We're gonna max at Runefest, or we're gonna max in England when we get there. I don't know.
We'll go to Jagex headquarters. And max outside of Jagex headquarters.
With what car?
I don't know.
How are we gonna get there?
Uber?
How are we gonna get to Cambridge, Michael?
We're
gonna Uber from London to Cambridge.
We could run there. Could take a train, take a bus.
Tell me you've never been outside the United States without telling.
Tell me the distance between the top and bottom of the United Kingdom is the same distance between North Texas and Austin. I've done it a lot of times.
You ain't ever walked there.
I could if I wanted to.
And you don't have a car or a license that would allow you to drive in Europe.
That's true. I forgot about that. I didn't actually consider that. But just don't get pulled over.
Man.
Actually, we have to go. We have to move on.
That's a great idea. Break international law. You heard it here first, guys. Break international laws, not international. Be in a different country and break their laws, whatever the terminology is. If you guys do something awesome, like max your account, get a 99, get an Infernal Cape, or break an international law, go over to our Discord, discord.gg/OSRSTNL, and post about it in the Levels and Achievements channel. We also have a very bumpin', very active Discord community here. I scroll down every week, all the rating channels, a couple of the general chats. They're all active with people. Come hang out. Come learn new content. This is the best place to be. We are objectively the best RuneScape Discord in the world. Come hang out. We have also been recording for about 3 hours on our time track, and I think it's about time we bring this episode to the close. And the only way to bring these episodes here at Xpwaste to a close is with a fun question. So, Michael, do you have a question that's actually fun and does not incite existential dread like last week's question did? Because several people said last week's question was not fun. It went from like, haha, pointy click to like, who's the most important person in your life and what are you going to do when you die? So, do you have a question that doesn't make people as dreadful?
I do.
This week?
And all I have to say about this question is da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
All right, we've just been copyright struck. What do you got for
If
us?
that is copyright, I am honored. Thank you for my rendition, my cover of the Family Feud theme song. Vestpolar wants to know if you could pick any OSRS NPCs on your team to be on your team for Family Feud, who would they be and why? We got Team Oxie on the right side, Team Michael on the left side. Oxie, who are your 4 other people that you're choosing to be on Family Feud? And you get to go first. So if you pick someone, I can't have them because we're not going to double up here.
Obviously, we can't double up. So with that in mind, obviously, I got to pick someone intelligent. I got to pick someone intelligent. So obviously, I have to go with the wise old man, right? Surely, right? Wise old man will end up on my team.
All right, that's your one. That's one. 3 more.
So I'm trying to think of like broad range for every category. So we got wise old man. Who are we thinking? Who are we thinking for something else? Let's mix things up a little. We're gonna go with Thurgo. He might be fun. He's old. He's got a different perspective on things. He could have some wacky opinions. We got wise old man. We got Thurgo. Let's see. Who's Breve? Breve? We're gonna take him. The guy outside the smoke dungeon?
Okay.
Or not the smoke dungeon. the thermonuclear smoke devil cave, or whatever it is. Breve. He's constantly wheezing. That might be that one's a mental game, right? It's not about the intelligence factor. It's the like, if you guys are trying to whisper amongst yourselves and you hear I can't even do that without hurting myself. If you try to like focus while having that in your ear, it's not going to go well. So that's the psychological game for us.
Okay.
And then is it NPCs and bosses?
No, just NPCs.
Just NPCs.
That's what he said.
Damn.
But aren't bosses also NPCs? Non-playable characters?
I think for the sake of this, we don't pick bosses.
Okay.
Surely, right? Yeah. I think we need to really throw it out of the deep end here. I think my first thought is Reldo, but I don't think that's spicy enough.
But he's so smart.
Who's the not nice counselor from Korend? The one that's working with demons? Let's pick her. Let's mix it up. Let's pick, is it Counselor Hargrove? No. Hold up. OSRS AKD. What's her name? It's Counselor so-and-so.
I can't help you there.
It's Sophia Hughes. Yeah. We're gonna choose Sophia Hughes as the last one. Just because again, that might mix things up a little bit. Why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
So who are your 4 again? You got Wise Old Man. I blanked out because I was looking at people on the
Wise Old Man.
the wiki.
Wise Old Man. Thurgo, Breathe, and Sophia Hughes. Those are my 4.
Okay. I like it. My first one is going to be the Gnome Child, because we're going with Patreon themes here, people. And I don't know, Party Pete, nah. Gnome Child is very wise. Although they're a child, they have wisdom enough to be a diary master. So, picking Gnome Child.
That's the Elder Gnome Child.
The Elder Gnome Child, yes. They are the Western Province's diary master. Second is going to be any of the dwarves inside the Motherlode mine. Any of them. I don't really care. This third one. Who did I have for third? Huh. Hold on. I know who my fourth one is. I forgot my third one. What's their name? Hold on. Hold on. I know I can picture them. I just have to Google the place and then the people. Oh.
Yep.
Sacrifice. His name is Sacrifice. He's the gnome.
Oh,
that
another kid.
sits
Okay.
at the dock in Zolrandra. And then my final pick is Sleske, because he's ancient and he's old. I was going to do all 4 of them just lined up, all Majorat, but I thought that was boring. But Sleske is kind of cool. He's the guy who gave the Barrows brothers their powers. And probably one of the big bads of any future quest that we see featuring the Majorat, so that'll be great. But no, they're not children. Sacrifice is just a gnome, isn't he? He's a chosen to sacrifice to Zora. Player intervenes. Sacrifice allows the player to become a sacrifice, sending sacrifice to his family as they would not receive the extra ration for the sacred eel. Despite this, he thinks the player, for allowing his life to live longer, neither his mother or younger brother were happy with the change of plans.
The sacrifice is a young gnome child who is the son of Zal Sharay and elder brother of Zal Gutusuli.
Huh.
Another kid.
Is Gnome Child an actual child, though? Or is that just their name?
Gnome children are young gnomes.
I didn't think Gnome Child was an actual child, though. Sometimes to win, you have to think like a kid. You know, they have no fears in being wrong. And I'm going to beat your family in Family Feud. There's no rules against children going on Family Feud. Okay? You can be a kid and go on Family Feud. You're not going to be able to answer the questions very well, but that's not what this is about. This is about having fun, okay?
Okay.
But I am mad that you took the wise old man. I knew that you would do that to me.
I know. I just did for fun. Ugh. You gotta mix things up with your answers, Michael. You gotta get some varieties of spice of life. Okay,
Yes.
I had to take them from you because I knew you were gonna take them if I didn't.
Well, you did. Thank you, Valdon, for that question. It was a lot more fun than the existential dread of your last meal. Maybe we'll have a sad one next week. Because we still have a lot to get through on this list, surprisingly.
Well, folks, you've heard it here first. That's the fun question for you guys. Submit more fun questions however you like. Submit them on Discord. DM Michael. Send him a postcard. He really likes postcards. He's got a weird head-shaped hole on his corkboard so he can show off. That's why it's shaped like that. It's because it goes around the border of his head when he's sitting there. It's not because it's not aesthetic choice. It isn't entirely an aesthetic choice. But send him more postcards so there's no more head border, and he can actually just
It makes it look full until I move my head.
Make it actually full. Send him some postcards. I'm sure he would really appreciate it. Yeah, this is the end of the episode here. Like we said, use code PRIDE in xpwaste.shop, 10% off or 15% off the order, actually.
Yeah.
And all the proceeds for the entire month, regardless of whether or not you use code PRIDE, will be donated to some charity to help LGBTQ folks. Not sure which one yet. We'll let you know when we figure one out. But that is the case. Just 100% of the proceeds are going right to that for this month. Head over to our Discord, discord.gg/OSRSTNL. Come hang out with us. Come follow us on socials. We have a link tree with all of our relevant social media down there in the description. Go do that. Patreon exists.
It does.
For your consideration. I don't know. We can't promote twice in one outro. What are you going to do? But yeah, with that, we next week hopefully do a not news post episode. Because it's not that it's not our thing, but we like to talk about other stuff beyond the news posts. There are lots of great podcasts for the news posts. In the past, that's not been us. So we'll get you guys some good pre-planned content coming your way in the next couple of weeks. But until then, happy scaping. We'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.